This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately.
What's going on, everybody? Trying out this new monitor configuration where the two on the right are horizontal or rotated monitors where they're like cell phones, you know, portrait. I think you can put more stuff on it that way. Looks pretty good. Hey, alright. Tracy Seymour's birthday. I'll have to get Mary Lou to sing something for that. Where the heck is that? Wait, so what's going on there? Why does it look like that? No, that's a different one. Sorry. There we go. So where is Mary Lou?
I'm over here, great, Jesus.
Well, I mean, I don't know where you are every second. Jesus. So sing happy birthday for Tracy Seymour. All right, get going now.
I don't want to agree.
That's too bad. You're gonna do it anyways.
Okay. Happy birthday to Tracy Seymour. Happy birthday to Tracy Seymour. Happy birthday, dear Tracy Seymour. Happy birthday to you.
And many more.
And many more.
Man, Kenny, that sounds terrible.
Well, you weren't much better, Mary Lou.
What do you mean it wasn't much better? I thought I sang pretty good today.
No, you're happy birthday. You know, that part, it just gets really, you know, it's not great.
Gosh, Gray, well, I tried. Happy birthday, Tracy Seymour.
That was ghastly. Did you see what Eugenie said? She said ghastly, but happy birthday.
That's not very nice, Eugenie. I sing you happy birthday.
And yet it's ghastly those times, too. Yeah. All right. How come when I pop out the... Yeah, it doesn't let me... It's strange. I have to figure something out. Oh, I know it. Well, because the thing with this new monitor, I can have the chat massive on one of these monitors because it's vertical. Maybe I'll do it with, you know what I'll do is, let me try this with, where is that? With Firefox over here. And that way it doesn't affect the, I think that's perfect. Yeah, so we got some updates today. Interesting stuff in the Delphi case again. Some updates on Craig Ross and Kenneka Jenkins had a settlement. We don't know what the numbers are. You know, I've always seen that there could be fault on the hotel's part, but I mean, you know, I mean, my God, you got to take, there's got to be some responsibility on the a person who's absolutely, obliterated with topiramate and alcohol, that there's some responsibility that you might wander in a place, but they should have had everything locked up in that case. So I agree with there should have been a settlement, but I don't know what the amount would be if I was doing it myself. They should have had the kitchen locked down. Thanks, Claudia Neubauer.
There.
Oh wow, an ad popped up on when I opened up Firefox. Crazy. All right, look at that. So, it does it there too? What the hell? That's so weird. I didn't set up that program for Firefox, and yet there it is. Really weird, really weird. Okay. Well, looks like, it's really cool. I have on my monitor over here, I don't know if you guys, here, I can show you it, kind of. Let me show you what this looks like. So I'm trying to figure out what works the best. So here is the full shot, but here's what, see that monitor? That's like the whole monitor can be the chat right there. And then, let's see if I can, yeah, it looks like that. That whole monitor is the chat. So you have these vertical monitors now. And then there's Google Earth over here, and then there's another vertical monitor. So, yeah, I think it's kind of cool, I guess. I'm just trying to figure out what works the best here. Not sure at this point. Hey, thank you so much, Claudia Neubauer, Kitty Cronister, and Cali Gal 3. It's hard to get back to where you had it. There you go, right there. Yeah, it's cool. I knew that I've seen people do that before. I just hadn't tried it, where you just rotate it, and then you select under the monitor setting to have it. I think it's horizontal or whatever the hell it is. Yep, 4 screens. Yeah, it is kind of like an air traffic controller in here. And Allie Cake was wondering what what needs to go on as moderator, and I told Allie Cake that she doesn't have to do a damn thing except be her nice self to everybody coming in here, like she always is. Some of the moderators need to be the ambassador people. Man, it's weird. There's all these different colors over here.
Good evening, all ye freaks.
Interesting. I don't know why, but I don't know why Firefox has that same plugin when I never put it there. Oh well, it is what it is, right? Yeah, I didn't think it was a big deal to say that. I just wanted to I thought it was sort of cute when you asked that. But. All right, so let me just do a flashback on the Kenneka Jenkins case right here. So this was a girl in Chicago. I think it was 2017, not too long after Delphi, and it has nothing to do with Delphi, but I'm just saying timing-wise. Yeah, she was in a hotel partying with a bunch of people. There was like 20 kids up in a room, and then she disappeared, and the hotel didn't really take it seriously, so that's another issue for them. At first, they probably thought she took off, and then the next day she was found in a freezer in a kitchen. Right? And at first people were sort of wondering, wow, everybody thought, man, maybe something nefarious happened. And then videos started coming out, and I was like, I don't know. And then I actually purchased, I spent $70 and purchased I got to have the external hard drive with all of the surveillance footage in the entire hotel in it. You had to do a FOIA request, and they sent it to me, and then I shared it with other people that didn't have it. And when you go through it and you find every segment that she's in, it's obvious to anybody with a rational brain of any kind that she died accidentally while being highly intoxicated, wandering the halls, and ended up in a kitchen that was being renovated, and went into a freezer and couldn't figure out how to get out. And she died by freezing to death in there. So that is hey, thanks, Eugenie. That's how the case was. But man, I mean, the incredible amount of arguing and people wanting it to be something else was really kind of disgusting, to be honest with you. That's why her death images were put out online, and it just, yeah, anybody with half a brain would have been able to figure it out. It was really one of the most, I'll show it to you. As a matter of fact, see, everyone came up with all these things like, oh man, she was wandering around for an hour and a half and stuff. And that's because, see, here's the thing, there was these, what was it? The surveillance footage, each video on the hard drive, there was this player that you could play it with. If you exported the AVI file, it would put on the, let's see, the camera time would show up on the video, not the system time. But when you watch the video on the player, the system time was on there, and that's what people should have been using. So, but they kept using the camera time, which doesn't mean a damn thing. It's the system time that matters. A camera could be set to whatever. You know, you don't even know. How do you sync up 25 cameras individually? You can't. So people use system time using, you know, like the internet, something like that. So that caused a lot of problems for people. But to me, it was really obvious. And it turns out where she literally was only down at the bottom level for 7.5, 8 minutes. If I remember correctly, just a really small amount of time, but you'll be able to see here her walking the halls, and there's absolutely no other person connected at all. But of course, there was always somebody hiding behind the next corner that we just don't see, and then edited it out of the video. One person actually said that she was being walked down the hall and had her arms being held up in the air like a puppeteer, and they just edited out the person that was holding up her arms. Can you, no, she doesn't, she was actually on topiramate and alcohol, and that's exactly what happens. You become highly intoxicated. So there was that. Then there was these people that said, I mean, I'll show you at various parts. It's actually sort of funny in some ways how absolutely idiotic a lot of people were. But, you know, it just is what it is. That's how it is in the true crime community. All right, let's see. So this music's in the video itself. I mean, I can just turn it down a little bit. Yeah, so you can see right there at 3:25:09 in the morning. Okay, so first of all, she was upstairs, and her two friends left her by the elevator because they said, oh, we got to go get Kenneka's phone. And normally you'd come back out and she'd still be sitting there. And then everybody attacked the friends. Oh, wow, man, it's their fault. Well, they were drunk too, you know. Everybody's drinking, and she was sitting by the elevator, but instead of waiting at the elevator because she was highly intoxicated, got in the elevator and went all the way down to the basement level, which is right here. This is below, this right here is almost directly, or very close to being directly below the lobby. All right? So just watch her here. This is 3:25, and what this video is here is anytime she's on camera, I show it, and then the rest of the time will just be dark, and it plays darkness. Okay, so and people go, "Ooh, it was in the darkness. Something happened." Well, no, it wasn't, because where did they go when she came back into the light? I'm actually starting to feel the same way again. But anyways, you guys, if you'd like to help support the Grant Hughes Investigates YouTube channel, that would be great. Thank you very much. I made probably 100 videos on this case. So look at after going in the elevator, she walked around the corner, and 35, 40 seconds later, so you look at her right there. She can barely walk because she took an anti-seizure medication and alcohol, and if you look it up, it absolutely can do exactly this. She was just... But there's nobody awake. You see, at 3:30 in the morning, who's walking around in the basements other than her, right? So she's walking around, and then she kind of just goes by the camera there. That was 3:26 and 11 seconds. And then she passes another camera just right after that, and then heads down a hallway. We actually had all of this mapped out in the hall. There's a couple guys that would help out. One guy, I can't remember his name all of a sudden, but he helped out, try to figure out the mapping. I mean, he knew exactly. He had like some hotel map or something. And then it started all making sense at that point. So you can still see her. She's walking down. Now, the way this works is these are motion sensor cameras, and they're always recording something. They're recording like 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds, and then when it detects motion, it adds in the pre-detection video, and then after it loses detection, it does another 7 or 8. You can actually say how long you want it to pre-record and how much time you want it to record after the sensing is gone. All right. So if it detects sensing, let's say it just senses a motion, and then 5 seconds later it loses it, and then it detects it again in 4 seconds. It still just keeps recording. It's when it hasn't, like if it doesn't detect motion, it'll just keep recording for like 9 seconds, and then it stops recording. That's how these work. And so in a minute, she just disappears, and they go, "Ooh, look, see, they edited it." No, it's the same every time. Here, let's go back here. I'll show you. See the little red box right here? It detected her right there. You can actually set zones of where the detection is. And so let's go back a little bit. I'll show you this. So that was 37. And look, it should be right around 46, 47, where she just disappears off the camera. Yeah, boom. Yeah, 48. So it was like 10 seconds later. All right, so she's gone. Then she walks down the hallway, and I think, then she walks by a camera and then goes into a kitchen. Yeah, so here she comes. Further down the hallway. I think this is the same hallway. She's just coming further down it. But look how she can barely walk here. 3:27 and 12 seconds. I mean, she just barely hold her head up there. 3:27:25. And remember, the whole thing started at like 3:25 and 30 seconds. So she's been on camera for 22 seconds. And here up right here it says 12 seconds. I mean, that was just 22 for that one. But total time she's been on camera, you'd have to add them all up, and that happens at the end. So she goes into a kitchen and starts kind of just wandering around in the kitchen at 3:27. Oh, but let me go back to that. It was awesome. See this back here? This little blue area? Yeah, so people would use these really blurry versions of it and claim that was a guy standing there. All right, and then I showed them that like 12 hours later, the same thing's sitting there. So the guy just stood there for, when you have the surveillance footage, you can absolutely disprove all the morons out there. It was absolutely incredible. Oh yeah, this guy's standing there. He's standing there. Well, he's standing there for 12 hours, and even after she left, he just kept standing there, even when there was other people in there. Yeah, remember that was an arm of somebody, the big shirt, and then oh my God, it was just. This is where, what's funny, you guys? This is where I actually completely shifted to total critical thinking on everything. It's like sometimes I'd kind of be like, yeah, maybe, that's interesting, yeah, on something. But this case here, and actually the beginning of the Delphi case, because I was debunking, but this one here just let me know the depraved individuals that follow true crime, and their just absolutely nonsensical way of thinking. It was actually embarrassing, just as for mankind. Yeah, so she walks off the camera at 3:27 and 51 seconds. Next up there to Don G, Eugenie. And then in just a second, her head shows up for like 1 second. Right after this one. So she's still in the kitchen walking around. And then right after this one, she's back at that same shot with the guy in blue standing there. Oh, and you see that? It was just this really short shot. Right down in the lower right, there's her head that goes by. Gray, how do you know it's her? Maybe that was the killer. Oh, God. Here we go, everybody. It's the timing of it. So 3:28 and 37 seconds. Yeah, it's the hotel, right? But the problem is I don't know why. I think the hotel just did it for political correctness. Because of the demographics involved in the case, I think that they didn't want to go to trial because they'd probably lose. But, and there's also something to be said that they didn't take it seriously early enough. Also, they didn't, they didn't secure the kitchen, right? But at the same time, isn't there a point where it's somebody's fault? Also, it's sort of like we'd be blaming the car for a drunk driver. This person absolutely was highly intoxicated and filled with alcohol and had no way of doing anything rational. Went through a sign that said, no trespassing beyond this point, or something like that, right? There was a sign that said that, but because she was absolutely intoxicated, she didn't read it. But at what point is it the response? I don't know. So that's what's kind of strange. So the thing is the ultimate problem was they should have secured the kitchen so that somebody couldn't wander in. Thank you, RF. But who's thinking? And the kitchen though was a crazy location. It was on the first floor where you had to go down a long hallway, up a ramp, but that's not how she got there. She went through the underbellies of the hotel, up like these weird stairway, and then went up past like an ice machine, and then went through a wooden door that was there and went into the kitchen. Yeah, it was under construction, right? There was even a sign that said, don't go, don't trespass, or whatever it was. Like, I don't remember what the actual term was. Yeah, I know your screen's black because I'm not playing anything Moon Dance. Yeah, of course, obvious, Zozo, obviously. I'm just saying, at what point is it the responsibility of a person not to be just absolutely plastered where you can't read a sign? Anyways, in this hallway, she goes over here and look at it. She almost falls over these stairs. Oh, whoa! And then she just barely catches herself there. And there was somebody out there that made a crazy video using this shot. It looked pretty good, though. They took the door out back there and put some people looking around. And now she's off camera because it stopped detecting emotion. Now there's a water fountain where she went. And then she comes out and goes into the men's bathroom. Okay. So where's the sign that's see, that's where you got to look at stuff like that. So she goes into the men's bathroom. So what if there was something in the men's bathroom that made it sort of dangerous? There's men's bathroom have certain things. Well, she goes into the men's bathroom, and normal people wouldn't be going into the men's bathroom. So she's going into a lot of places that she shouldn't be going into. Yeah, I'm sure we have safety regulations here. Yes. we probably started in this country. All right, so she's in the men's bathroom right now. Now, so look how long she was just hanging out in the men's bathroom. And then she comes out and goes back around where the drinking fountain was. And I actually just removed the parts of the video because there's 9 more seconds of nothing on the video right there. I'm just showing you the amount of time she was literally on the camera. So even though the camera would still play for 9 seconds, because it does that after it loses. See the red box right there? That means it's detecting her motion in that quadrant. Now her feet were picked up in the lower quadrant right there, and then she exits there, and then it would have been 9 more seconds on that camera. Yeah, we all think that, Zozo. We've all said that, yeah. Hey, thanks, Claudia Neubauer. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but I think that there should be a greater weight to her because she was the one that was irresponsible and was absolutely intoxicated and was on anti-seizure medication, and there were signs literally saying don't go into this place, but she didn't read them. Yeah. Well, the update is just purely that there was a settlement, and I always thought that there should be some sort of a settlement, you know, because it should have been locked, the door, right? Like they shouldn't have been able to, nobody should have been able to get into the kitchen, and that's where there's an issue, because then if the kitchen was locked, there's no chance that somebody could have gone into it. Thanks, Charlotte Denny. And also, they could have looked for her a little bit quicker. Yeah, they did a settlement. I don't know what the amount is. Yeah, I'm sure I bet it's over $1 million for sure. You know, those hotel chains like that. So here she is in the kitchen back here, right? So she walks around and just kind of, you know, wandering around. Now, this is where people go, oh, somebody got her and put her. But there's no way out of this kitchen here. Where the video that you see right there, there's no out. There's no way to get out. And there was no other people seen. So here's the thing. Then at that point, she went back into the freezer, and there was all kinds of surveillance after that, and nobody exited. So she was only on camera for 3 minutes and 5 seconds, and then the whole time she was down there. Well, there's me back in the day.
And make sure you like.
Well, look at that, back in the day. But anyways, that was 7 minutes and 50 seconds or so. That entire time, not hours like she was wandering around or anything like that. Here, let me see. I'm going to try to... There's another one that I had. It was pretty good. I think that way you can see the whole thing. I think I'm the only one that did that. Yeah. So this will show you the whole how it went.
Time.
Oh yeah, this is me. Remember these? Here we go. We got to listen to this.
Hello, this is Grant Hughes again. I'm back with
The
a new
old
video,
school
and this
debunking.
time, it's an animation. Well, parts of it are an animation. This will be the walkthrough from...
Well, it doesn't compensate anything, Timothy, but they should have got something. I mean, she's the one that was irresponsible and drank while on a anti-seizure medicine. And, you know, the hotel should have maybe locked the freezer, but there was no crime committed by somebody, right? I mean, I guess if you call that a crime, but it's a civil case, obviously.
From start to finish, but this time, any pitch and character, okay?
So I made a character of her, maybe.
Motion in there, Photoshop in there, and hits.
is this the one?
Right when you saw that red box the first time.
Let me see if I think I made one where it's just the animation. No, maybe that was it.
Which is right now. We're actually in, but I didn't like the way. Okay, so she walks by. Now we're going to switch back over to surveillance.
That's right. That's right.
And so that might say, explain why sometimes the bot watch. She actually comes out the side door. Right
yeah.
there.
See, and then later she walks
All
it
right,
this
so
way.
see, that's some
You know that animation was almost exactly how she
Look,
walked.
She goes right towards these double doors right here, and through those double doors is right there. That's
Yeah, she might have found another way to. I mean, being that intoxicated.
the stairs that she fell over back there. Okay, so she walks by. Now
Yeah,
we're gonna
there were signs saying there's no act. Don't go into these, and she went in anyways.
switch back over to surveillance. Okay, so obviously they don't look.
So you didn't
exactly
follow the
same
case,
or
so you wouldn't know.
even that close, but it's a
Let's see.
representation of Kenneka. All right. So I don't even think she noticed those stairs right there. She was just kind of looking at that door. Maybe she's even trying to read that sign right there.
But yeah, so obviously if they'd locked
Looks like
the
top almost fell off.
hotel and like locked every room and everything like that, and of course she'd
Right
still
now
be
she
alive.
goes back to where the drinking fountain is. I don't know if she got a drink of water.
Well, no, what's obvious in the case, though, is that she was absolutely intoxicated, went down to the lower levels, and then didn't follow any of the signs or do anything like that, wandered into areas that said, don't go into these areas, and she obviously has some responsibility. The hotel, though, being their property, obviously has a larger responsibility, and they should have locked the room, like I've said 50 freaking times on this show.
Yeah, so it went 59
It's
all the way to 28.
ridiculous.
So she was in there for 28 seconds plus 8, which is 37 seconds, and then plus another 8, I think. So she was in that men's bathroom for almost like 40 seconds. All right, then she comes back around, goes to the drinking fountain.
So this is showing all of the time that's on camera. Now it does skip here. I think it skips.
Now we're gonna do some more animation.
All right,
the
not
rest
that.
of
We already
this is
skipped.
almost all animation. As a matter of fact, it is animation until the upper kitchen. All right, now she walks by, and she's gonna go back through those same double doors, which are coming up right now. Okay.
So she goes through these double doors right here.
She goes
You know
back,
that animation was almost exactly how she was
and
walking.
This is that long.
That was one
I
that you could
actually
just
have her going
apply to a
pretty slow.
character.
Okay, because I'm trying to prove a point to Mike Mecca, who always thinks, "Oh, there's no way she could walk that far in a minute."
Oh, that's
Go
who it was,
back
Mike
in-
Mecca.
Or minute 20, as a matter of fact. But look, I have her going really pretty slow. Okay.
Yeah, and then she went over to
The
these
dumpster
stairs right
heads
here.
right towards the stairs. But actually, I'm going to pause it right here just for a second. This surveillance camera right here was not working.
And because some weren't working, they go, "Ooh, it's a cover-up, man! It's a cover-up." And yet you never see a
Towards that
soul.
door, goes inside the stairway, and then she's going to go up. Now, I couldn't find a drunk animation of going upstairs. Okay, so add 10 or 15 seconds to that. So she gets to the top of the stairs.
Man, this is pretty good. I
walks
forgot how good
by,
this was.
She's really intoxicated, and then she goes through that door that you can
Yeah.
see.
And so this is in the kitchen using 360 degree.
This one comes into here,
And now you'll see this is right here.
and then she walks by the surveillance camera in this room that was working. And she goes all the way back, goes into the cooler first. I think she goes past
I always
it,
thought it was going to
comes
settle.
back, goes into the cooler, and then into the freezer.
Yeah, there's zero chance that a crime was committed.
Okay. So
And you know what one of the main reasons was? Is because
there was another part I was going to tell you about. Right here, there's a surveillance camera. And see how that one's on? Now, they fixed one of the cameras, for sure. I read that in the narrative, that one of them was fixed. And I'm thinking that maybe this was one.
yeah, that one also didn't have any video on it.
one of the ones they fixed.
So this is an assumption how she got it there.
Before they did these, out this side right here. All right. And then she's going to head out another set of double doors.
So, I'm glad that there was a settlement of some kind. It's just, I hope it's not like $10 million or some shit. It's, I think when people, let's see, what would it be? For me, it's sort of like somebody's drunk driving and they go through a sign that says construction ahead, and they go right through the sign and go flying off of a cliff, and somehow the construction company gets sued because they didn't build a brick wall right in front of the cliff. That's sort of what it feels like. When do humans, have some responsibility for what they do, right? So anyways, it doesn't bother me at all. I always thought that they should get one because, at the very least, it would have been pretty easy just to lock the kitchen door, as I've said. And also, they didn't really take things too seriously at the beginning and didn't look around. They weren't looking around. They didn't take anything seriously. They thought she left or something. And I don't know if that would have saved her because she'd already been in there for hours by the time her mom got there. And it was kind of weird. There's video of her mom showing up and talking to her, and that was really sad. I have a video of like this. I don't know if you guys want to see that one. I think it's. Let me see if I can find it. I'm still getting used to where things open up on this with these different monitors. So so Zozo and I agree on it. It's just that the way you're wording it makes it sound like we're not aware or something. Like I get it, Let's see. Is that the one? Okay. So this would be a good video just to play. All right. There we go. That's the guy when he finds her in there. Oh, hold on, let me turn that on. Thank you, Jessica Schubach. Yeah, it was on. You want to keep them on because the odor gets absolutely crazy in those freezers once you turn them off. It's weird, this Starbucks cup just stayed there for weeks. It was crazy. Huh? Yeah, it's definitely not hinky how she got in there. I don't know why you were saying that back then, Tracy. And somebody says, had it been a child or an adult child with developmental delays, people would think differently. Well, yeah, but it's not the same thing, Those are things. See, that's a terrible analogy right there, because those are things that they can't control. Okay, it's the same analogy that I use as a drunk driver. When you get drunk, you can't make decisions, and bad things happen. Yeah, it's true. That's why they should have locked the door, as I've been saying 1,000 times. But that's where you start adding some responsibility to the person too. I don't know why you can't see that. It's really obvious. You know, it's like drunk drivers. You know, you go through an intersection and fly off of a cliff where there's a sign saying "Don't drive here." Well, is it the construction company's fault or the person driving drunk? It's kind of like a little bit of both, right? Maybe they should have built a brick wall so they couldn't drive over it. But comparing it to like people that have conditions that they can't control is like just ludicrous, really. So I think her family was in a waiting room over here. I guess I get blasted merely for suggesting that she takes some responsibility too. It's like, give me a break. If you can't see that, then I'm sorry. Oh, really? Jeez, Tracy, that's crazy. No, I get it. Take 3. That's why the kitchen should be locked, so that nobody could get into it. And I guess that would, if you lock the kitchen, there's almost zero chance you would have died in the freezer, right? But also, there would be almost zero chance you would have died in the freezer had she not been absolutely wasted and intoxicated like that, okay? So, but it's on the hotel's property, it's their responsibility, and that's why they likely settled. I mean, people get sued when a burglar goes into their house and gets hurt. Are you kidding me? And they win. Well, you should have had... They tripped and hit their head because you had something in the hallway. You should have cleared the hallway for that burglar, you bastard. It's weird. Weird times, weird times. You've seen it, right? So right now the officers are... I think the family shows up here in a minute. I think this is the next day at 1:30 in the morning, so almost 22 hours later. Took that long. There's the mom. She just came in. And the guy that's coming in with her, I think he got shot at some point. I thought this was a pretty good video just to show like how it really is, like behind the scenes. It's not like... And look at, I mean, she just found out and just freaked out. I mean, you could totally feel the pain. It's so hard to do anything in that moment. You're just kind of awful. I don't know what the music is. It was another one of it was 5 years ago, 6 years ago when I made this. I remember when they told me my brother died, I just busted through the doors, didn't give a shit who said what. I just went running around looking for him. I don't really know. His heart started beating funny. He had coke in his system, but he wasn't like doing it right that moment. So I don't know what he always had an irregular beat. So this is like 3 hours later, as you can see it there. 2 hours and 45 minutes later, they came back. I'm just going to move it forward when they're walking. They're just standing there for a while. Now, so there's everyone made this whole thing about the coroners and how they're involved and they're hiding cameras and shit, and I just disproved every single one of those too. I even called him up on the phone and he described to me what he was doing. Thank you, brown-eyed girl. I just hated the whole community. It gave me a really horrible vibe in the just society almost. It was just... And look at, there's that damn Starbucks cup. I mean, nobody ever moved it out of the way. Yeah, I always said Kendrick Johnson's had more chance of having something. Yeah, it's weird. There's a watch and various items. I mean, it was pretty involved surveillance camera stuff. They were all over the place. And it shows all these different angles of people walking around and law enforcement. And even when Kenneka's mom comes up to in here, she comes in and sees her. I got rid of, you can't see her face on there. I blocked it out. Oh, these guys are they're getting rid of evidence. Look at that. They're going to sneak it and put it underneath the... Look at that. They're sneaking it in there. Ridiculous. Yeah, Kendrick Johnson's one just feels off. The whole way through it. There's almost nothing you go... And in that case, the surveillance footage is just jacked up, man. Things missing that shouldn't be. So there's this kitchen just right outside that door. It's like right there. It's not even... It's another kitchen. And then he comes back down the hall. And think. Yeah, then they walk down the hallway. There you go. So that's right at the end of the hallway right here. He's taking... So this is how you would get to that same kitchen as a normal, like an employee or something. You would go down a hallway. That's right, and then you take a left, and then you come in, and you go through this kitchen, and then you go out that door, and then you go into the unused kitchen. That's what they were saying, T-Cell Logic. I mean, I had to go watch all my debunking videos, man. It was like one after another, just total weird people. Yeah, remember that? The trash bag, where the trash bag weighed about 5 pounds? Yeah. I think she even notices the camera right here. She like points up at it or something. And now she's being shown the watch and those items. Yeah, there was no organ harvesting. I remember one person said, "Look, she's got a scar on her belly. It's like 1 inch long." And I was like, well, scars take months to form, so when did they take the organs out? Well, still. Okay. No, there wasn't, Zozo. There wasn't. Yeah. Two or three men in the kitchen. Where? What kitchen? Who told you that? Sorry, Summer. There just wasn't. Okay. And you're wrong, and you were proven wrong, and you know. So just get over it. Move on to something else. You know? And I don't think she was even allowed to touch her, which is sad. No, they would just invent people. There was never another soul in any of their surveillance footage. During the time that she's on camera and walking, there is not another soul anywhere. There were people later because they were looking for her. They were walking around the hallways. All of her friends, all the way to like 4 in the morning. 4:30 even. They didn't find her. They got sort of in an area that was mildly close, but not really. Yeah. Are you going to go to the trial for your vacation, Claudia? How fun. And they were just taken back to the freezer that she was found in. I don't have patience for anybody anymore that go, I still think they're with zero information or evidence at all in this case. It was really, really one of the most disgusting displays of sort of like human condition. All of the absolute wackos that thought that there was a murder, even though you're shown concrete information that there is nothing going on here. I mean, zero. It was just a tragic accident. She was too intoxicated to figure out how to push the knob. She probably tried to twist it, you know, like most people would. But you have to push on it when you're in the freezer, and, you know. So that's basically how it went. And then they exit the hotel right there. And now it's 5:13, so yeah, that was like 4 hours after she was told that they were leaving. All right, well, there you go. Right there. I mean, people still comment in the comment section. Something just isn't right. Yeah. Makes me want to vomit. You know, it's just no wonder we have such problems. It's just scary. I don't know what that means, Lindsay. Why don't you just send me an email? What do you mean, I'll go? I just want to say her name. Who? Yeah, just send me an email with that. I don't know what you're referring to. I know. There's people in here right now that say the same thing because they are dumb, okay? It's not like, no, Gray, it's reasonable, rational thought. No, it isn't at all, okay? There isn't any. This is one of those things that's completely been debunked and proven. All right, so there isn't another opinion anymore, okay? Yeah. What wasn't right was the fact, here's the thing, Boycott. She was drinking like everybody else, except she had topiramate, an anti-seizure medicine in her that probably nobody knew that she had, and she got way more intoxicated than anybody else because she had taken that. So her friends, when they were leaving, they go, oh wait, we gotta go get Kenneka's phone. They go inside, and then she got on an elevator and disappeared. Okay, she went all the way down to the basement level and got out and was all alone at 3:30 in the morning. There wasn't another soul walking around at that time. And that's where, that's it. I mean, she was only walking around also for about 7 minutes and 50 seconds total. I agree with that, Zozo. That should be part of it. The settlement. Well, we'll give you the settlement as long as you come out and you absolutely let the people know there was nothing else going on here, because there wasn't. But see, that would turn into a conspiracy too, because then she'd say, well, they told me I had to say that. Ooh, they're covering something up. You know what I mean? So it's like, wouldn't really work. Or you could unless you made a condition that if you say that we told you to say that you have to give back the entire amount of money. Anyways, you guys, let's see, what day are we on? We're on day number 4 of the month. If you'd like to help support the Grant Hughes Investigates YouTube channel, we got, a whole bunch of stuff that we're still working on right now. The DNA case that's coming up, I guess they just submitted the proposal today. The Addison County Doe case is like 3 weeks away from maybe being worked on by Misty Gillis herself. That will be freaking amazing. So, anyways, yes, I donate over 50% of the net revenue to true crime related charities, and I'm a monetized YouTube channel, and you guys are it. Might be on. What do you mean might be in rewind? Hey, thanks, Kathy Freudenmaker. All right, now we're going to go on to the other stuff. Okay, so I think I'll save Richard Allen for the end. So the Craig Ross articles that came out today. Let's see. Cops probing if Craig Ross Jr.'s mom knew about Charlotte Zena's kidnapping. So now they're wondering if she knew. I mean, it is kind of strange, I mean, but if he just lived in that trailer back there, I guess that would, it's not that weird that she didn't know. And she'd probably be 80 years old at this point. Or not 80, maybe 75 or something. Right here. And this absolutely is the right property and everything. I've seen newer photographs of it. And that's the trailer, actually. The trailer. Which makes that pin that much cooler. Thanks, Canvas and Crime. Thank you for the straightforward content. Police are probing whether the mother of a man accused of kidnapping Charlotte Senna from an upstate New York campground last weekend knew her son was holding the young girl captive, though they do not believe anyone else was involved in the abduction. New York State Police Lieutenant Colonel Richard Allen said they have interviewed the mother of suspect Craig Ann Ross Jr., I think Nelson is his middle name, who was arrested Monday evening at a trailer behind her property in Ballston Spa. Thank you, T-Cell Logic. Yeah, I was saying that earlier. Yesterday when they had the Lieutenant Colonel Richard Allen, I was like, man, another Richard Allen. Jeez. We are working with her and interviewing her. As far as charges on her, it's too early to say what may or may not happen there. We're still trying to determine what she did know and didn't know at the time. Charlotte was found in good health inside a bedroom closet in Ross's trailer. Man, he just looks like one of the dumbest people on the planet, doesn't he? Look at that guy.
You know, that's just one step above stupid. Have you lost the last...
This is the one I was looking for, this one.
5 brain cells? 4 aren't working.
That fits that guy to a T, doesn't it?
5 brain cells, 4 aren't working. Did you hear what I said? Come on, man. What's wrong with you? And Grits for Brains here shoots him. Did you hear what I said?
Are you angry at me?
Don't ask dumbass questions.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the other one was. She was in different clothing when she was found. See, I think that part's weird. I didn't know that till today. When she was found, she was wearing different clothing than when she disappeared. So did he have like the... You know what's creepy is whose clothing was that? Wouldn't that be wild as hell if the clothing he had there was clothing of one of those 2 girls that he maybe was associated with in 2003 and 2005? Wouldn't that be wild? If he stored those as trophies and then put them on her to kind of relive that. Not saying that happened, but it's crossing my mind as we're talking. Hey, thanks, Christy Lynn Snow. I mean, it's weird, too. Hey, thank you very much. Christy Lynn Snow. Number 1, she said. Wouldn't that be absolutely crazy? Because whose clothing is that? Is that his daughter's clothing? Or is it some other clothing that he'd been holding on to? She was in different clothing when she was found, Alan said. She was in a sweatshirt which was not the clothing she had on when she was taken. The veteran investigator also described the intense level of relief he felt when SWAT members discovered the young girl alive within minutes of swarming the property. So that's what it looked like. It's actually bigger on the other screen. Almost looks like a coffin right there. Yeah, could it be? But what clothes was he switching into? I mean, the reasoning, we don't really know at this point. I mean, was she going to be playing outside? Why would he need to change her clothing unless he thought, wow, let her play outside? I don't know. For the identity purposes. I think it's a different reason. That's my opinion. I was like such a level of relief, excitement that she was alive, she was okay, and she were going to reunite her back with her family, he told Cuomo. It was really one of the most amazing investigations I've ever seen. I think it's pretty amazing too. You know, we go to the fingerprint. Let's see, we got the fingerprint. I'm looking at that bear. Those bears in China, you guys think those are real? Those ones that are walking around like people? You know, we got the fingerprint hit on him at 2:30 in the afternoon. He had her in custody at 6:30, or we had him in custody at 6:30. He added the quick turnaround between when police identified Ross through a fingerprint left on the ransom note. To be honest with you, once we got this ransom note, it was the first real solid piece of evidence. Wow. So they were absolutely blind at that point. They didn't have a clue. Man, so if he didn't drop off that envelope, a ransom is rare, very rare. This is the first case I've ever worked with an actual abduction like this, where there was a ransom note left to try to get money to get the child back. Investigators spoke with Ross, who was previously investigated for allegedly sexually abusing a 12-year-old following his arrest, but has not talked with the suspect since he requested a lawyer a few hours later. We don't believe there was anyone else involved in the abduction itself. It almost kind of looked, I think that's outside the residence there, but. And so there's a better picture there. Look at everything's kind of there. Look at it. This round thing is right here. So that shed right there is this one. There's another. This shed thing right here is this. And actually, I think this was, when was this? This is April of 2022, so it looks like the lot has been added to the trailer, almost like it's a different one. So if you flip it around, yeah, sort of like that. Yeah. So pretty much like that right there, and everything's the same. Little swimming pool there with stairs that go up to it. And a lot of stuff's been added, so that's interesting, isn't it, you guys? You know? Has this been sort of converted into, since April of 22 at least, to look like this for possibly what he's doing? I mean, look, it's got that weird covering over the top of it. Pretty strange. Everything else is the same, but this has changed quite a bit. Neighbors react after Craig Ross Jr. charged with kidnapping 9-year-old Charlotte Senna from Moreau Lake State Park. Neighbors are speaking out after Craig Ross Jr. was charged with kidnapping. A fingerprint, I've been praying for 48 hours since I got the first Amber Alert, said Carol Brown of Ballston Spa. Brown lives just down the road from the location where police found Charlotte Senna hidden in a trailer behind the suspect's mother's home. Man, it's I'm having a hard time working it with this high. I'll figure it out. The fingerprint on ransom note led to his arrest. Yeah, so Brown knew something was up Monday night as her quiet neighborhood exploded with activity. The entire road lit up with police officers, helicopters overhead, just like out of a movie. This drama had a happy ending. Charlotte was shaken, but in good physical condition. Ross was grabbed by members of local SWAT team. He's charged with kidnapping Charlotte from Moreau Lake State Park as she biked on Saturday. Let's see. Putting a ransom note in the family mailbox, inserts the ransom note, leaving a critical piece of evidence behind, his own fingerprint. My family had an issue with him in the beginning of the summer, Brown said. Brown said she came outside one day as her young grandson was in the yard. And standing over him, right over him, with his back to me, was the man. Yeah, so that one's kind of spooky. What was he doing there? You confronted him. He got on his bike and rode away. Yes, and I believe with all my heart after last night that probably my grandson was this close. Yeah, so here's the thing, everybody. On Friday this week, my show's going to be kind of early because I remember that thing I went to last year, that beach fest thing where all of my friends, where we were at the coast. That was during the, I think, Kylie Rodney case or something like that. Back then. So that's when Friday, so I'm going to do an earlier show, but I'm going to likely miss doing a show Saturday. So if you guys could somehow help support the channel, make sure we kind of cover that day, that'd be great. I mean, I know you don't have to do anything, but that always gets me behind in the few times that I get days off. Then the next one's in February that I have off. So, hey, thanks, Gloria Batari. Recluse accused in Charlotte Sena abduction had domestic violence arrest. So the recluse New York man accused, the recluse New York man accused of kidnapping a 9-year-old off her bike and demanding ransom from her horrified parents was arrested in 2017 on domestic violence charges that involve allegedly squeezing the victim's neck. The revelation comes shortly after a local newspaper. Man, I don't know. I think they need to look at those two cases we talked about last night. The revelation comes shortly after a local newspaper alleged that Craig Ross, Jr., 46, had recently been under investigation for accusations of child molestation until just last month and was wearing just his underpants when SWAT teams swarmed his camper Monday night. Thank you, Ashley Hansen. State police told Fox News Digital that policy prevents them from confirming, denying, or making any comments on investigations. And they're still there today, you guys. They're still have police blocking that park. And I think that's really, really, really odd in a case like this. So I think they believe there's something much more going on here. Don't you think? I mean, even though you're trying to get the facts in the case, it's wouldn't need to go overboard because she's literally in a cabinet in the trailer that he was living in. So, and he's the one that dropped off the note and everything. So obviously he's involved. So it's not like you need to do all this extra forensic, block off the park for 2 weeks, 2 or 3 days. I think there's something else going on. I think they're looking for something. I don't know. Maybe it points to, there's some similarity to something else. What do you guys think about that? Don't you think it's a little strange to be closing off a park when, okay, sure, we got the bike, and the investigation led to you off a fingerprint and everything, and you're sitting there looking. Yeah, we know it's for evidence. That's obvious. But what for, though? The evidence is already so strong. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I covered April Tinsley for years. I mean, I covered it right at the beginning, not right at the beginning, but right during the beginning of me doing shows, and then I was here when they made an arrest in that case. We covered it before there was an arrest. So, and it was really weird because in one of the shows I did, we were driving down a road, and it was really close to where he lived, like right in that town where that school is and everything. And mainly because that's where some of his notes were, but we were driving down the road, and that's exactly where it was. He doesn't look like him at all, this guy. But here, I'll show you. Look at that guy. I mean, could you just... If you're going to draw a picture of an ogre, that's him, right? And this one is one of the ones that really sort of... Whenever time I see her, I get this... It makes me feel really bad. This is one of those ones where it makes me emotional for some reason. Because you just look at her, and you look at her just probably a little... cute little tomboy type, always playing outside, mischievous. Was just having a hell of a good time, and some psycho monster abducted her and just did some just horrendous things. You know what I mean? So I don't know what it is. Something about it's just the story itself. It's like she's just playing with a friend, gets an umbrella, and then some guy comes and gets her in a car, and then uses actually objects on her, and just horrendous stuff. And then he taunted the police for, gosh, what was it, like 14 years or so, or 16. Now, Ross reportedly denied allegations that he molested a 12-year-old family friend. Well, now you know that was true, okay? I mean, so this thing, he tried to choke somebody. He's got child molestation that he denied, and they couldn't really prove it, so they said forget it. And now he's abducted somebody, and then he lived right next to, so if we go back to what we were talking about last night, if you happen to miss last night's show, there was just crazy case of, let me go back to, so it was Jennifer Marie Hammond. She was in the area, I think it was 2003, and she was selling like books, and was at this trailer park, and then went missing somewhere around right in this area. Then you have Christina White, who lived in this trailer park. In 2005, she went missing. But Craig Ross also lived in this trailer park, not too distant of a time from then. And then his mother lives right here the whole time. So she's lived there the entire time, like for 25, 30 years in this area. And then both of those girls, they were found. One was found up here, Jennifer was, and Christine's remains were found right there. And you just look at that and you say to yourself, what are the odds that this guy who's abducting other people, who also, these two girls were abducted, one living in the same trailer park, and the one living right next to his mother's house, basically. They went missing and were murdered in 2003 and 2005. And he would have been 26, 28, something like that. And he was living in the area at the time. Don't you think that's weird? It's one of those ones I'm having. It's like the Delphi case with Richard Allen and Keegan Kline. You get these, like, how is it possible they're not connected? I don't know. So thank you, Ashley Hansen, Gloria Batari. Appreciate it. I mean, what do you guys think? Doesn't your gut just look at that and say to yourself, I mean, I know they're trailer parks, and sometimes there's not good people living in trailer parks, so there could be somebody else. But man, abductions, just like Charlotte was. So it definitely makes you go, right? You can't say, oh, well, this is 100%, but you just look at it. I think it's, what I was saying last night, I think it's like 90% certain, 95 even, that Christina White and Jennifer's disappearance are connected. Then whether or not Craig Ross is probably like 65% is connected to those two. But still above where you'd say, like, I don't know, Gray, that's a stretch. I always hate when you show people something like this and they go, that's a stretch. Like, where's the stretch part of it? Okay? Show me that angle. That's why mapping is so important. I didn't call them. Obviously, this is one of those things that they're going to look into, and they have cold cases, and they look into stuff. I think that's why they are doing what they're doing. I think that's why they're taking a lot of time here. They're trying to find if there's a connection to something else. And likely these two cases. There's no way they wouldn't be looking at these. When they find the abductor in Ball Spa, or whatever the hell the name of this area is. Ballston Spa, I guess. So you have two unsolved missing person cases that were their murders, but they went missing first. They're unsolved. And then you have another abduction and an arrest in the same tiny little community. And not only that, he lived in the same trailer park as one of them. They're obviously going to, at least I would hope it was obvious. Thank you, Claudia Neubauer. All right, well, that is the... I don't really have much more of an update on him. But I thought the weirdest takeaways from the day are that Charlotte was, when she was found in the cabinet, was wearing different clothing than she was when she was abducted. So it was the next day or so, 2 days later, so maybe, he had a change of clothes and, she got to take a shower or whatever the hell it was. But, I mean, where did you get the clothing? Was it your daughter's clothing? Because he does have an 11-year-old and she's 9, so maybe they fit. How's it going, Amber? I hadn't seen you in a couple days. Cindy J says, let's do a wave. Wouldn't want to have to put Gray in prison again, would you? Where did it say it was? Oh yeah, did it say that in the article? It was an adult sweatshirt. I don't remember that word being used. Thanks, Daphne. Well, where did it say that, Zoe? Where did it say? When I read it a minute ago, did it say adult? I kind of barely remember saying that. Let me go back to that again. It was in the first one. She was in a sweatshirt, which was not the clothing she had on when she was taken. Okay, where's the PD saying that? Can you give me the link to that? You're only here from my show last night, man. You've been missing out for years. Thanks, Eugenie. what I'm hoping is that, he really was just had her for a ransom and was taking, as good a care of somebody as whatever that means when you're abducted, I don't know. But that would, especially, I hope she wasn't assaulted in any way. But the fact is she has different clothing on. How did that come about? Did he do it himself, or did she, It's pretty creepy. That's so weird when you do the expand, it goes all the way up and down the screen. Yeah, I don't see the link for the police. It's pretty easy. You just get the link and send it in. Well, it almost was a wave. Huh? Oh yeah, the light's really bright. Yeah, I forgot to turn it down over here. Well, I'm not sure I think these screens are all lit up. See, it's this screen right here is lit on my face. It's white. So if I went like that, then it's gone. It's not the light. It's amazing. But thanks for another thing that Cindy likes to point out. All these little things that have nothing to do with anything, but always kind of like, thanks, Mrs. C. Yep, everything's okay, Dom. % last night's show was fascinating in how you brought us those two cold kids. Yeah, I like to do, go through the newspapers or try to find, there wasn't anything in the newspapers, but I found the original articles since they're on the web back in 2005 and 2003 and 2009 when Jennifer's body was found. Hopefully they already do that kind of stuff, Chuck Sims. Hopefully they already do it. Yeah, so I don't see where... I'd like to read the police department link that you guys are claiming it's in up there. No, we don't know, Boycott, if she did or not. Okay. Sorry you went through what you're claiming you went through, but I don't think that you can sit there and say that 100% somebody did this or that because you did something. Maybe, though. Yeah, that's all we can say is maybe. We don't know if his brother did anything because I haven't seen anywhere where they've proven that the other, like Charles Ross, was his brother. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Yeah, Right. Let's see, it took 26 years for arrest for Tupac. Well, they made an arrest in the Tupac one? I didn't realize that. When did they make an arrest in the Tupac case? Guess I've been missing out. Oh, really? Wow. Oh, he's dead already? Oh. Never heard of it. Yeah, I don't like, here's what I don't like looking into. Cases where people claim police corruption. I can't stand it. It's so boring. and it doesn't get anywhere, and it's all speculation. I just never do those ones. Unless it's sort of part of a, like, you know, some cases that's what it is. Like the actual killer is a police officer. But other than that, when parents and people go, it's a cover up by the cops, man, it's very difficult to get anywhere on those. Now, if they're being negligent and they're just sort of being cavalier, you know, it's a different story. I mean, I can work with that, you know, where you kind of put pressure on them to start doing something. But when you say that they're involved and they're covering something up, it's just, you know, I don't have time. So they made an arrest. Good. Who did they arrest? Or who did they charge with the murder? So it was the Biggie Smalls guy? Or who was it? Man, you guys actually followed that like it was interesting? Jesus. Whew. Wow. Craig's brother is also known as a man who films women. I don't even know who you're talking about. Yeah, we don't know if is Charles literally Craig's brother? Because he wasn't listed on Ben Verified as a relative. Yeah, I'm not. I think it's total bore. Let's see. It's like, yeah. It happened years and years ago. Okay, great. Yeah. You know, and the thing is the whole rap culture is got a violent tint to it. So to me, it's just kind of like there's no innocence anywhere. You know, it's just like this crazy, violent culture where everybody's battling back and forth, talking about capping this, capping that, doing this and this and this shit. And it's just, I don't know, man. That kind of stuff, I don't ever cover gang-related or anything like that cases because I don't want to. I want to do the ones where there's some completely innocent person out there that has nothing to do with anything that got, you know, like the one we're doing right here. I guess that's what my thing. I don't care if you guys are interested or not. I just think it's like, you know, that kind of crap happens in that industry all the time. Usually you get somebody arrested quicker, though. Yeah, I didn't say it was dumb. Zozo said he was part of that, the violent rapping culture. Yeah. Yeah, just listen to it. I mean, what's weird is you always have these people in society that keep telling us, "Oh, we gotta be like this, we gotta be like this." But just listen to the horrific shit in rap music. I mean, what's going on? If you want change, don't put this shit in there. You know what I'm saying? God, it's almost embarrassing at some point. Hey, thanks, Cheryl Bullock. But it is kind of cool that after all those years, finally somebody got... Well, who was it that they pinned it on? That's right, Claudia Neubauer, that's right. Some other rapper that bragged about it on a podcast? Really? Huh. What a dummy. So he told on himself? Well, I was younger. There was this Tupac guy, and you know, Jesus. So he confessed on BET years ago, and it took years for somebody to arrest him? And thank you very much, Cheryl Bullock. All right, anyways, I'm going to move on from this. No, we had no emails whatsoever showing that the cops said it was a adult sweatshirt. Okay, so since that wasn't proven, we can't take it as a fact. Man, look how many of you actually were following that. Wow, that's weird. Yeah, of course, he's too cute to be in a gang. Depended on the only one of the 4 guilty parties who hasn't died in the meantime. When criminals know exactly how to get around them. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next topic now. Yeah, so the Richard Allen, his defense team has done it again, man. Another motion. So maybe we should just start off with the motion itself. Let's see, where is it? Right there. So comes now the accused, Richard Allen. And this is yesterday. By and through counsel Andrew Baldwin and Brad Rossi, and files the following additional information to supplement the Frank's motion and memorandum previously filed with the court on October 18, 2023. In support of said notice, the... Hold on, where's my... God, man, this is... I gotta like figure out strategically where to be putting these windows. Hold on, I gotta shut this one down here again. Alright. Here. Because I can have like 7 or 8 windows open at the same time, and they could all be meaningful and shift around. And there we go. Let's see. I understand it. In support of said notice, the defense states the following: that on September 18, 2023, the defense filed its motion for Frank's hearing. Frank's hearing is one that shows that the prosecution knowingly left out exculpatory information from a warrant that a judge otherwise would have denied the warrant, but they left it out intentionally to get a warrant. And thus, if proven, you could wipe out the warrant and all the fruit that was born from that warrant. Okay, that's what this is about. All right. But since filing that motion, the defense has received new discovery that strongly supports the defense belief that Tony Liggett and Unified Command attempted to conceal from Judge Diener, and has since even attempted to hide from the defense that evidence, supports that those practicing Odinism were the murderers of Abby and Libby. So they're back to that again. Back to that again. Specifically, I think if you paid attention, though, Zozo, you would actually understand it, you know? I do. I actually do. I think you're smart enough to get it. I think you just start looking at all these other things. And specifically, Tony Liggett swore under oath, so he's the investigator, right? He swore under oath at his August 8, 2023 deposition that a Purdue professor did not believe that the sticks found on Abby and Libby's bodies consisted of runes. All right, so Liggett said no, they didn't. The professor said that he didn't think it was related to Norse and that it was, like Odinism, and that he didn't think it was, the designs were runes, right? I know, that's what I'm saying. I think while you're reading, you're thinking of something else. It's whenever you're interested in something, people understand it. I mean, I used to do that in school, just read, didn't have a clue what I was reading, didn't care, didn't have any interest. Then later on, when you're actually interested in something, you pay attention while you're reading instead of having your mind wander. So that's what I've realized over time. If it's not interesting, it's hard to focus. Yeah, so anyways, Tony Liggett, right? He's the investigator, right? He swore under oath at his August 8th, 2023 deposition that a Purdue professor did not believe that the sticks found on Abby and Libby's bodies consisted of runes. Does everybody get that? So they were saying, yeah, well, we didn't look at this Odinism thing because a Purdue professor said it didn't consist of that, and they said, okay, forget it. Furthermore, Sergeant Jerry Holman swore under oath at his August 10th, 2023, which is literally only a month and a half ago, deposition that a Purdue professor said that the sticks found on the girls did not represent Odinism or any type of cult worshipping or any type of a group that would have conducted the crime. You see? So even Jerry Holman's saying, yeah, that professor, he said that had nothing to do with anything about Odinism, right? Because of the findings of this Purdue professor, the Unified Command claimed to have essentially abandoned the Odinism aspect of the investigation into the murder of Abby and Libby. See? So they quit looking into the murders of Abby and Libby based on Odinism because the professor, apparently, that's what they're saying here, in response to the defense request to depose this very same... So the defense said, well, let's talk to that professor. And this was on September 6, 2023. The prosecutor, Nick McClellan, told the defense via email, as stated before, we are trying to identify. So the defense said, hey, we need to talk to that guy. And the prosecution says, we don't even remember what the professor's name is. Which is, you got to admit, that's kind of weird, right? I mean, it is kind of weird that you wouldn't have it in a document or something. As stated before, we are trying to identify the Purdue professor, but no luck yet. Detective Holman has reached out to the FBI and Purdue and has gotten no response. We will continue our endeavor, but may not be able to identify him. However, on September 19th, 2023, the day after the Franks memorandum was filed, where it was revealed that the Purdue professor was missing, miraculously, Jerry Holman found the professor, whose name is Jeffrey Turco, and interviewed him. All right, you guys, we're not even at the goal yet, you guys. I'd appreciate if we could keep on trucking. Let's see. Jerry Holman, professor, whose name is Jeffrey Turco. So now all of a sudden they've got the guy's name. However, in the interview, Jerry Holman apologized to Turco for the 3 and 4 weeks that it took him to sit down and talk with, let's see. However, in the interview, Jerry Holman apologized to the professor for the 3 to 4 weeks that it took him to sit down and talk with the professor. I don't, what the hell does that even mean? This means that Holman was aware of the Purdue professor. Oh, yeah, I see. So in that 2019, in September 19th, that means it was in August that he actually was aware of the professor, but told them on September 9th they didn't even know his name. You get that? So on September 9th, which was in the, I think it was, or 6th even, So it says, in a response, defense requested to depose this Purdue professor on September 6th, but McClellan said, hell, we don't even know who this guy is, right? Then, let's see. Then on September 19th, that's when, I think it was Holman, let's see, where is it? Jerry Holman found the professor, whose name is Jeffrey Turco. However, in the interview, Jerry Holman apologized to Turco for the 3 or 4 weeks that it took him to sit down and talk with him. So that would mean that he actually communicated with him in late August. But as we just showed you a minute ago, on September 6th, they said they didn't know who he was. So that's kind of an issue there. Well, I don't even understand what that person's saying up there. However, in the interview, Jerry Holman apologized to the law professor that it took him 3 to 4 weeks. This means that Holman was aware of the Purdue professor's identity since mid to late August, but nonetheless told Nick McClellan that Unified Command could not locate the Purdue professor, and furthermore, that they may not even be able to find the Purdue professor, even though they already had his name. Yeah, that doesn't look good. Yeah, I gotta be honest with that. However, after it was obvious that the Purdue professor would probably out himself as the missing Purdue professor following the Franks memorandum, Holman went and interviewed the Purdue professor the day after the Franks memorandum was filed. Why would Holman and the Unified Command try to hide the name of the Purdue professor, even risking ridicule for the absurdity that they could not remember his name? The answer is obvious. Once the tape statement was played, Dr. Turco stated that after viewing the pattern of sticks on the girls, that it was a given that someone was trying to replicate a Germanic runic script. So, I mean, if that's true, that's, that doesn't look good. So they say it had nothing to do with it. But he says, no, he was trying to replicate Germanic runic script. Okay. Furthermore, Dr. Turco consulted with a colleague from Harvard who had even more knowledge on runes, and this Harvard professor was in agreement with Turco. Furthermore, Dr. Turco stated that Odinism is an extreme neo-pagan, neo-heathenism ideology and has right-wing racist connotations. And left-wing, don't forget that. I mean, shit, the KKK was big on the left. Furthermore, Dr. Turco stated that according to 19th century sources, the Vikings practiced ritual killings and sacrifices. Furthermore, Dr. Turco stated that although he could not necessarily interpret these runes, that the stick configuration were pretty clearly runic, and that he could certainly imagine that this was somebody's idea that when you do human sacrifices, you carve runes. There are some poetic sources that would support, would sort of support that, idea that somebody might have come across this scenario. Seems entirely plausible to me. Furthermore, Dr. Turco discussed how runes were thought to have magical significance and would be used in incantations, in rituals, and that there is a sacrificial connection in mythology poetry. So that I think in dark here is what he said. These were things again. But here's the thing: the MO of the defense team is leaves out stuff. Okay, so let me just show you. Like, for example, if you went back to here, where it said right here, Dr. Turco stated, although he could not necessarily interpret these runes, that the stick, I bet it was something much more that the stick configuration were pretty clearly runic, and that, now with quotes, could certainly imagine, Now, you could say, I mean, he might have said, there's some people out there that could certainly imagine that this was somebody's idea, that when you do human sacrifices, you carve ruins. But I don't think we see that here. I think what we see here is, but they're not going to put that part in there. These guys like to edit out all of the exculpatory information to what their argument is. They do it all the time. You must be on rewind, 80s baby. Yeah, so you got to keep that in mind. Did you notice how the prosecution completely wiped out every single thing, basically, that they were saying? Not everything, but the crucial elements. This part here, though, if true, it does seem like they were trying to hide the professor for some reason. Wow, Amy Higg, you saved the show. Thank you so much. Hi, Freak Family. I'm late to the party. What did I miss? Just kidding. I guess it will be rewind mode tonight. That's everyone. Let's see. Oh, thanks everyone for making the goal and spreading gray and your awesome positive work on here. Okay, back to Kenneka. Right. Anyways, thank you so much, Amy Higg. Maybe I'll turn the. Hopefully I caught it, but it would have went. I think it'll still catch this. I think you guys are on such a long delay now. But yes, there's people who haven't been watching for a while here, but every single night on this channel, like if everybody helped out a little bit on a nightly basis, it would allow me to keep, I obviously keep doing the shows all the time, but we also do a tremendous amount of charity work too. I mean, we're talking $168,000 in 4 years since January 2020, so it hasn't even been 4 years. And so we're doing a lot of great stuff with a large portion of the income. So that's kind of what our, the channel makes a difference in the true crime world because we give so much. And you guys allow me to keep doing the shows by also supporting me. I think as attorneys, though, in this case right here, it is interesting, right? If this is all true, that they were telling the defense that, we don't even know who the guy is, all the while knowing exactly who he was, but they were nervous about what he might say, it kind of makes you wonder if that's why they didn't want him out there, because he was saying that, yeah, these are definitely runic, Furthermore, Dr. Turco discussed how runes were thought to have magical significance and would be used in incantations and then now it's quotes, in rituals, and that there is a sacrificial connection in mythological poetry. Thank you, Lisa Wilkerson. Another great show. Thank you, Gray, for covering all these cases. Yeah, this is pretty interesting. That on September 8th, September 18th, September 21st, and September 27th, 2023, the state of Indiana made available to the defense a total of 14 hard drives, 5 flash drives, 3 disks, and what appear to be hundreds of pages of paperwork. Particularly contained in the state of Indiana's September 27, 2023 evidence drop was a thumb drive that contained an interview of a Jeffrey Turco, not marked as a Purdue professor. So they were making it hard for the defense to unbury him out of all of these documents, right? I think that's something that they do. Hold on a second. Oh, Jesus, man. Back. Gotta get the air conditioning going here. Got really warm in here. There we go, there we go.
Another great show. Thank you, Ray, for covering all of these cases.
Yep. Particularly contained in the state of Indiana, September 27, 2023, evidence drop was a thumb drive that contained an interview of Jeffrey Turco, not marked as a Purdue professor. It seemed apparent by the timing of events that Tony Liggett and Unified Command knew the Purdue professor's name and wanted to hide his name and his finding from defense, as the professor's conclusions supported the defense and opposed the prosecution and Liggett's and Holman's sworn statements. Therefore, apparently it seems. What? Man. Apparently it what? Okay. Oh, there's. Therefore, apparently in what seems like a complete harebrained scheme, Holman and Liggett decided to claim that they did not know the professor's name, hoping that this would put an end to the defense looking into the Purdue professor. However, once the memorandum made it clear that the Purdue professor would certainly be found at some point in time, it took Holman 1 day to locate Dr. Turco and interview him about his findings of 2017. Thanks, Eugenie, for giving a membership to number 2, and Callie Gal, or a different Callie Gal, and also Claudia Neubauer. You must be Callie Gal 1. Yeah. Let's see. Made it clear that the Purdue professor certainly at some point in time. Yeah, that's kind of that's just dumb, you know. So when was it that the defense started talking about Odinism? And maybe at that point they're like, oh God, we had this professor, remember him? Oh crap, here we go. Again, Franks requires a preliminary finding that law enforcement has acted intentionally or with reckless disregard for the truth when being accused of concealing evidence from the judge who signed the warrant. But here's the thing that you got to look at, is the warrant is for Richard Allen and how he's associated with the case. He said he was there. He was wearing exactly the clothing that the guy on the bridge was wearing. And his a bullet from his gun was found. Now that was found because of the warrant. But prior to that, I guess that's one of the things. Yeah. Prior to that, it's just, wow, he said he was there. What did they have on him? And then all the stuff they got from that warrant is what they've probably got since then. Man, see, again, this is one of those things, just like the last time, the defense has to explain it. Remember the witness by the bridge? I don't think so. No, in the warrant I don't think they mentioned Odinites at all. Why would they? They're going after Richard Allen. We should go over that part again, though, because remember the one, we found the warrant wording the other day. But great! Scott, 88. Let's see. Scott graduated in 1988 from something high school. South High. There you go. Did I nail it? Come on. Did I nail it, Scott? Come on, man. We can go take a look at it, though. Well, no, but that's not what the thing is, Cindy. It's, did law enforcement knowingly leave out exculpatory information that points to other people? And so that's part of it. Oh, man, it was close, though. It was close. Okay, 88 was the number of your favorite wide receiver in football. Okay, come on. I nailed it. Where defense counsel respectively files his additional Frank's notice and would request that this court factor in the new filing into its ruling. I think that, it is kind of a, it's another one that the prosecution's going to have to explain. I don't know how they're going to explain that one. That's tough. Because how do you explain, oh, well, we didn't remember his name. They could say, well, we didn't remember his name, but we too, when digging through the files, we mismarked it as just his name. It didn't say professor, and we realized, oh, that's him. So they could use the same thing, what made it hard for the defense to find. They also couldn't find it because it was mismarked like that. They could claim that, right? Except the Holman situation is a little bit dodgy because he knew the person's name 2 or 3 weeks prior to them saying they didn't know who it was. Because remember, you said, yeah, sorry, I haven't been able to get hold of you for the last 3 or 4 weeks. I already said that, Cindy. Man, we don't know for certain how that went. Because as we already know, the defense completely cherry picks and takes stuff out of context. Every single time. Yeah. So let's go find that one again. Let's see what, let me go back a little bit here. Richard Allen, memorandum support. So was it this motion? I think it's this one. Yeah, let's do this again. This is basically what was in the warrant, the search warrant, right? So let's go through this part again. I know we've done it already once, but this was that newer information that a lot of people skipped, but I never even had this document. I might have skipped it too, because it looks like it's going to be the same wording that was in the probable cause document, but it's not. It's different. Hold on. A 47-year-old man charged with kidnapping, held without bail, Charlotte. Why are you sending me this, Susan Bell? You sent me a link. Is there something interesting in here that's different than what we've already talked about for days? Says, check this out. The suspect in the kidnapping of 9-year-old Charlotte Santa has been arrested. Wow, really? That's incredible. Now, here we go. While working the Delphi investigation, Carroll County Sheriff... Let's read this whole damn thing. Let's see. Comes now the state of Indiana by Nicholas McClellan, prosecuting attorney for 74th Judicial Circuit, and moves this court for an order. So this is their response to the Frank's hearing request that we've already read, that whole 130-something page document that was full of crap, That document, this is their response. So it says, while working the Delphi investigation, Carroll County Sheriff Department Detective Tony Liggett developed information that Richard Allen was involved in the murder of victims 1 and 2. The investigation shows the following. So it was, let's see, what is this? While working to produce the Carroll County... I can't remember. Somewhere in here it mentions that this is like the search warrant. But anyways, that on February 14, 2017, victim Abby and Libby were found deceased in the woods approximately 0.2 miles northeast of Monon High Bridge. At the time, the Monon High Bridge trail was an approximately 1 mile gravel road. Yeah, this is the one that was just recent. It looks similar. It starts off similar, but it's definitely not. Has a lot other information in it. But Abby and Libby encountered a male subject on the southeast portion of the Monon High Bridge. The male ordered the girls, guys, then there's actually, probably 10 seconds in between, down the hill. The witness saw them after this time. No witness saw them after this time. No outgoing communications were found on victim 2's phone after this time. Their bodies were discovered on February 14th. The video recovered from Libby's phone shows Abby walking southeast on the Monon High Bridge while male subject wearing a dark jacket and jeans walks behind her. As the male subject approaches Abby and Libby, one of the victims mentions gun. Near the end of the video, a male is seen and heard telling the girls, guys, down the hill. The girls then begin to proceed down the hill and the video ends. A still photograph taken from the video, and I actually know what was on, the video is like you see Abby's feet go by, make the crunching sound, and then the camera gets closer to her body so you can't see anything anymore, and then you hear the guy say, guys, and then the girls are like, hey, which way to go, which way to go? He's got a gun, is that a gun? And then he says, down the hill. And you hear his feet crunching as he walks by. Interviews are conducted with 3 juveniles, RV, BW, and AS. They advised they were on the Monon High Bridge Trail on February 13th. They advised they were walking on the trail. Well, I think I missed this part up here. Let's see. So Abby and Libby's death were ruled a homicide. Clothes were found in Deer Creek belonging to victim 1 and 2. There's a photograph going around out there that probably is accurate. South of their bodies were located, there was also a .40 caliber unspent round, less than 2 feet away from from Abby's body. No, I mean Libby's body, between Abby and Libby's bodies. The round was unspent and had extraction marks on it. Interviews were conducted with 3 juveniles, RV, BW, and AS. They advised they were on the Monon High. Which article is this? How come their names aren't in this? Oh, there it is. Okay. They advised they were on the Monon High Bridge Trail on February 13th. They advised they were walking on the trail towards the Freedom Bridge. So that means they were leaving the park. Let me just get back over there. Right, so the girls were at the bridge right over here, and then they were heading back this direction towards the Freedom Bridge. The 3 of them. They advised they were on the Monon High Bridge Trail on February 13, 2017. They advised they were walking on the trail towards the Freedom Bridge to go home when they encountered a male walking from the Freedom Bridge towards the Monon High Bridge. AS described the male as kind of creepy and advised he was wearing like blue jeans and like a really light blue jacket, and his hair was gray, maybe a little brown, and he did not really know or show his face. She advised the jacket was a duck canvas type jacket. RV advised that she said hi to the male, but he just glared at them. She recalled him being in all black. See, here's the thing. All 3 girls saw the same guy, but they all have a little different description because you don't really remember stuff like that. But dark, like blue and dark, right? In all black and had something covering his mouth, probably that white scarf that we see. She described him as not very tall with a bigger build. See, so not very tall, but kind of a bigger build. That's exactly what Richard Allen looked like back then. She said he was not bigger than 5'10". RV advised he was wearing a black hoodie, black jeans, and black boots. She stated he had his hands in his pockets. BW showed investigators photographs she took on her phone while she was on the trail that day. The photograph included a photo of Monon High Bridge taken at 12:43. I showed you guys that photo the other night. And another taken at 1:26. I showed you that photo the other night. Of the bench east of the Freedom Bridge. Black and white. BW advised after she took the photo of the bench. Actually, I didn't show you the 12:43. I don't have that one. Let's see. BW advised after she took the photo of the bench, they started walking back to the Freedom Bridge. She advised that that was when that they encountered the man who matched the description of the photograph taken from Libby's video. BW described the man she encountered on the trail as wearing a blue or black windbreaker jacket. She advised the jacket had a collar and he had his hood up from the clothing underneath his jacket. She advised he was wearing baggy jeans and was taller than her. She advised her head came up to approximately his shoulder. She advised RV said hi to the man and that he said nothing back. She stated he was walking with a purpose like he knew where he was going. She stated he had his hands in his pockets and kept his head down. She advised he did not get a good look at his face but believed him to be a white male. The girls advised after encountering the male, they continued their walk across Freedom Bridge and the old railroad bridge over Old State 25. Investigators spoke with Betsy Blair, who was going under. I'm just adding this in. She was going underneath Old State Road 25 as those girls were walking away. Investigators spoke with Betsy Blair, who advised she was on the trails on February 13th. Video from the Hoosier Hardware Store captured Betsy's vehicle traveling eastbound at 1:46 p.m. towards the entrance across from the Mears farm. Betsy advised she saw four juvenile females. So she says she saw four juvenile females walking on the bridge over Old State Road 25 as she was driving underneath on her way to the park. Betsy advised there were no other cars parked across from the Mears farm when she parked, which is absolutely correct. She advised that she walked to the Monon High Bridge and observed a male matching the one from Libby's video. She described the male she saw as a white male wearing a blue jeans and a blue jean jacket. She advised he was standing on the first platform of the Monon High Bridge approximately 50 feet from her. She advised she turned around at the bridge and continued her walk. She advised approximately halfway between the bridge and the parking area across from the Mears farm, she passed two girls walking towards the Monon High Bridge. She advised she believed the girls were victim 1 and 2. Video from the Hoosier Hardware Store shows 149. Let's see, Betsy. Let me check something really quick. Trying to. So that was 6. I'm just trying to make sure that this is the right one. Actually, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking this is that older one now because it is the same as it. I don't know. Do you guys remember what was the name of the one? I don't want to get too far down this if it isn't the right one, because it's sort of reminding me more of the original document. So let me take a look really quick. What is the name of this? No, but this is by the state though. So this is for leave of court subpoena. Yeah, so this is that one. I think it just gets a little bit more, it changes up down below here. Is anybody there? You guys are so, like, nobody's saying anything. The investigator spoke with Betsy Blair, advised she was on the trails on February 13th at 1:46 p.m. towards the entrance across from the Mears farm. Betsy advised she saw 4 juveniles. Yep. Okay, 50 feet. And then video from the Hoosier Hardware Store shows at 1:49 a white car matching Kelsey German's vehicle traveled away from the entrance across from the Mears farm. Betsy advised she finished her walk and saw no other adults other than the male on the bridge. Her vehicle is seen on Hoosier Harvester video at 2:14, leaving westbound. Betsy advised when she was leaving, she noted a vehicle was parked in an odd manner at the old Child Protective Service building. She said it was not odd for a vehicle to be parked there, but she noticed it was odd because of the manner it was parked. Hold on. Let me check something here. I don't know why, but it's not really feeling like this is the 627. No, they would have replied after that, wouldn't they? Memorandum support of the motion. Is that this one? Yeah, that's the 136 pager. But the date on that is 10/3. What do you guys think? That it doesn't feel, feels like this is sort of like the one that we've already been looking at so far. Let me go down here. I just believe all four saw the same. Okay, I think this might be. This is the right one. It's just kind of long. It has the same information in parts, but it changes up at some point down here. Okay. Through interviews, electronic data. So that right here, it talks about the 357. We're able to determine from watching the video from the Hoosier Harvest Store that Sarah Carbaugh was traveling on CR 300 North at 357. She's the one that said she saw an individual muddy and bloody. Sarah advised that the male subject was wearing a blue-colored jacket, blue jeans, and was muddy and bloody. She further stated that it appeared he had gotten into a fight. Investigators were able to determine from watching the video from the Hoosier Harvest Store that Sarah Carbaugh was traveling on CR 300 at 357. Through interviews, electronic data, photographs, and video from the Hoosier Harvest Store, investigators determined that there were other people on the trail that day after 2:13 p.m. Those people were interviewed, and none of those individuals encountered the male subject referenced above, witnessed by the juvenile girls Betsy Blair and Sarah Carbaugh. Further, none of those individuals witnessed Abby and Libby. Investigators reviewing prior tips encountered a tip narrative from an officer who interviewed Richard Allen. Said Mr. Allen was on the trail between 1:30 and 3:30. He parked at the old Farm Bureau building and walked to the new Freedom Bridge. So, I mean, it's not called the old farm building. It's the CPS building, but look at you walk right here to the Freedom Bridge. There, the farm building is over like way down in some area. It's not even anywhere near there. So he just thought that's what it was called. Because there's only one building here that is old and it's abandoned right there. He walked from the Freedom Bridge to the High Bridge. He did not see anybody, although he stated he noted that, okay, he does say something. So he parked at the old Farm Bureau building, which is the abandoned CPS building. While at the Freedom Bridge, he saw 3 females. He noted one was taller and had brown or black hair. He did not remember description, nor did he speak with them. He walked from the Freedom Bridge to the High Bridge. He did not see anybody, although he stated he was watching a stock ticker on his phone. So that's a pretty key piece of information. Because if he was watching a stalker, that means his phone would have pinged off of a tower. There were vehicles parked at the High Bridge Trail, however, did not pay attention to them. He did not take, there would only been one vehicle parked there when he got there. And that would have been Betsy Blair. He did not take any photos or video. Actually, he wouldn't have seen a car. That's right. So he'd already walked by before Betsy Blair even got there. And there was no cars parked there. So that's a lie that there was any cars parked there when he walked by on that trail. Investigators believe Mr. Allen was referring to the former Child Protective Service building. Investigators discovered Richard Allen owned 2 vehicles in 2017, a 2016 black Ford Focus, a 2006 gray Ford Focus. Investigators observed a vehicle that resembled Allen's 2016 Ford Focus on the Hoosier Harvester video at 126. Actually, it was Ford 500 up there. Let's see. Investigators note witnesses described the vehicle parked at the former Child Protective Service building as a PT Cruiser or smart car. Investigators believe those descriptions are similar in nature to a 2016 Ford Focus. Yeah, I mean, it's it's like similar because they're sort of just vaguely similar. Somebody driving by, not needing to know that they needed to remember what a car looked like, they might say that. What they all have in common, however, is that it was a dark car, except the defense left that out of their Frank's hearing thing because that doesn't help them. On October 13, 2022, Richard Allen was interviewed again by investigators. He advised he was on the trails. So this is on October 13th, which is 2 weeks after the Wabash River was searched in the Kagan Klein case. Apparently, they already had his name since like the 27th, which is crazy, of the previous month while they were searching the Wabash River. Later in his statement, he said he walked out on the first platform on the bridge. He stated he then walked back, sat on a bench on the trail, and then left. He stated he parked his car on the side of an old building. He told investigators that he was wearing blue jeans and a blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hood. He advised he may have been wearing some type of head covering as well. He further claimed, I think that's that brown pool hat, he further claimed he saw no one else except for the juvenile girls he saw east of the Freedom Bridge. Richard M. Allen's wife, Kathy Allen, also spoke with investigators. She confirmed that Richard did have guns and knives at the residence. She also stated that Richard still owns a blue Carhartt jacket. On October 13, 2022, investigators executed a search warrant of Richard Allen's residence at 1967 Whiteman Drive, Delphi, Carroll County, Indiana. Among other items, officers located jackets, boots, knives, and firearms, including a Sig Sauer model P226. See, these are all things that they wouldn't even count if a defense is successful in getting rid of the search warrant. Between October 14, 2022 and October 19, 2022, an Indiana State Police laboratory performed analysis. This is where they make a connection to the striations on the ejection of the bullet. Richard Allen in 2001. Okay, Carroll County Sheriff Department Detective Tony Liggett has been part of the investigation since it started in 2017. He has had an opportunity to review and examine evidence gathered in the investigation. Detective Liggett, along with other investigators, believe the evidence gathered shows that Richard Allen is the male subject seen on the video from February, or on victim 2's phone, which is Libby's phone, who forced the victim down the hill. Further, they were murdered. Through the investigation, or Jesus, I can't read it. Through the statements and photographs of the juvenile females and the statement of Betsy Blair, RV, BW, and AS were at the southeast edge of the trail at 12:43 p.m. east of Freedom Bridge at 1:26 p.m. and walked across the former railroad overpass over Old State. Yeah, so this is, I think this feels like we're reading the thing that, I don't know why, but it doesn't have the stuff in it that I was wanting to. Maybe it does later, though. I just don't want to take the time to read this whole thing again. April 14th. Yeah, where the hell is that? God. This isn't the response, is it? No, that's right. This is the original. So does anybody know where the response is? That's what I'm looking for right now. And for some reason I can't find it. Did I have that on my trip? Do you guys remember that? Let me see if I can. Hold on a second. I know. No, I don't think this is it. This doesn't sound right to me. It's written differently. This sounds almost exactly like the one we've gone over. Hold on a second. I don't know where that is. That looks different to me. Here, let me... Here, you guys just hang out amongst yourself. I'm going to go look for it. Let me go look through my old folders here. See if I can find it. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's there. God, I gotta put. Let me put this in the right place. Okay, this needs to be. I found it. And thanks, Cindy, because that's the data. I was going to start about around that time, looking for it, but there it is. All right, so it's also 8 pages like the other one. I think this is it. Hold on, maybe not. Hold on. Now that was their response to it. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, I guess this one doesn't have the. Let me go back again to the 25th. Delphi State. State's second objection. All right, let's just read this then. Maybe this was it. But I don't know, there was that one document that had, it was dark again, too, and it seemed to include, and this doesn't have that, so it's a little weird. It's bugging me. It could just be that I'm remembering it wrong, too. Let me go back a little bit further, 24th. Alright, how about, see, when I was on my trip, I didn't have folders anymore. I'm looking for that one document that I had where it was in dark again, but it seemed like it was more the original search warrant. And for some reason, I can't find it. I think it could be that last one that we were looking at, but I don't know. Sort of, there was some differences. That one seemed like identical to ones we've already looked at. Anyway, let's take a look at this. So this is the objection, the second, their second objection to the defendant's motion to suppress. Okay, so they're trying to suppress the search warrant. And then here was the one that was released just the other day. I don't know, Cindy. I'll have to go take a look. What do you mean already had? What does that mean? Right, the buried document one, right, yeah. So which one is that one? Let me just go look at it. Hold on a second. Let me go open that show up. Man, I gotta get this crap. I think I was on my trip or something. Or just got back, or I can't remember. Okay. So that one's on. To me, they all know that that's exactly what this is, right? They know it's garbage. But they're going to do whatever it takes. This is a 26. 43 seconds in length, so it captured at 2:13 that video on February 13, 2000. Okay, let me pull out that one I was just looking at and see if that is consistent with that one. Yeah, that's. Yeah, okay, there's the second. I've got that in here. Memorandum in support. So that's not the right one. Oh yeah, wasn't it in the combination? Was it here? Hold on. No. I'm just looking for my file. I don't need to look for the show if you're trying to help out. I already got it. It's called Affidavit for Search Warrant. I mean, look at that thing. It's right there. That supportive motion 27 motion leave no god darn it. Oh, okay. Objection, that the one? Ah, okay, that must be it. Yeah. So it's in the document called State's Objection to Defendant's Motion to Suppress. It's in that document. But I'm almost positive I was just looking at that. Man, that's when you don't organize everything perfectly, it sucks. And don't forget, we are still doing a show, everybody. So if you'd like to help support the channel, even when I'm looking for something, that would be absolutely awesome. Okay, I'm gonna put this in another folder too, so I don't lose it again. I found it in my email, and that email was from, hold on. Yeah, see, I didn't even have that. That email was from, like, you know, the 26th or so. You dig me? All right. Thanks. No, that's not the one. God, is that one? That's not even the one I just got. This is crazy. objection filed. It's this one. Let's see. Now comes to state that on May 19, 2023, the defendant filed a motion to suppress the evidence seized as a result of a search warrant executed on the home. So this is way back in May, right? That the defense alleges that the search warrant was unreasonable under the Indiana federal Constitution in that it lacked probable cause, that it failed to establish that the items to be seized were in the residence or could be expected to be in the residence. So they had a whole different reason back then that they were trying to get it out. That in September 2022, while reviewing the evidence in the investigation into the murders of Abby and Libby, investigators discovered an interview that was done with Richard Allen in 2017 by Indiana Conservation Officer Dan Doolin. That in 2017 interview, Richard Allen admitted being on the trail the day that Abigail Williams and Liberty German went missing. That he stated that he was on the trail between 1:30 and 3:30, that on October 13, 2022, investigators invited Richard Allen and his wife, Kathy Allen, to speak to them and follow up on the interview done in 2017. That both Richard Allen and Kathy Allen came to the interview on their own on October 13th. That investigators learned from those interviews that Richard Allen reaffirmed that he was in fact on the trails the day that Abigail Williams and Liberty German went missing, and further admitted to being on the High Bridge. That he also told investigators that he was wearing blue jeans and a blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hood, and that he was wearing a head covering. That further, Richard stated he did own guns and that the guns were in his home. That investigators learned from Kathy and Richard Allen still had guns and knives in the home, along with a blue Carhartt jacket. That investigators believed a firearm was involved in the abduction and murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty German, because an unspent .40 caliber round was found between the bodies of Abby and Libby, but there was also a sound that was made, a click sound, and one of the girls said, "He's got a gun." That investigators believe a knife was used in the murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. That clothes that Richard Allen described wearing the day he was on the trail matched the description of the man seen on the bridge from the video taken of Liberty German's phone. This is the document that at the very end has items. Okay, yeah, okay, good. This is the right one. I just remembered that part. So I'm going to go down to this part here. See, this is the narrative. I knew there was something that wasn't sounding right to me. So when you listen to this, it's different than what everybody saw before. This was in the search warrant. It even says right here, the affiant states as follows in support of the warrant. Now, was this in the warrant or was this something else written at that time? I don't know, but it sounds like it might be in the warrant. That on Monday, February 13, 2017, at 1:50 p.m., Abigail Williams and Liberty German were dropped off. It was actually 1:49 by a family member at the Monon High Bridge. That's 1:49 is when Kelsey's car is driving away, so it could even be they were dropped off at 1:48. So it was Monon High Bridge Trail off County Road 300 North. On Tuesday, February 14, 2017, at 2:17 p.m., the girls were found deceased. Their bodies were located in the woods northeast of the Monon High Bridge. Autopsies of the girls ruled their deaths as homicides, and their wounds were caused by a sharp object. See, totally different than the other article. Investigators located Liberty German's iPhone 6S under her body at the scene and were able to recover a video approximately 43 seconds in length, captured at 2:13 p.m. on February 13, 2017. The video depicts Abigail walking on the Monon High Bridge, just like we always said. Abigail is in the video, towards Liberty, while a male subject wearing a dark jacket and jeans walks behind her. Near the end of the video, the man is heard. So actually, Abby gets behind Libby, and Libby puts the phone near her side. And near the end of the video, the man is heard in the video telling the girls down the hill. Through further investigation of the location of the bodies, investigators also located a .40 caliber unspent round. They also determined that articles of clothing from the girls were missing from the scene, including a pair of underwear and a sock. Through the investigation, there were interviews done with 3 of the 4 girls. So there wasn't just 3, there was 4 girls there, which matches what Betsy Blair saw. So they interviewed 3 of the 4 girls that were on the trails that day. The girls observed a male on the trails on February 13th, 2017, that matched the description, the male in the video recorded by Liberty German. The 3 girls identified as Rayleigh, Voorhees, Brianna, and Anna encountered the male near a bench east of the Freedom Bridge. So they were walking and they were saying near the bench. There's a bench right here, and they would have been walking out this direction. I was just there the other day, so like it's weird walking down there. You realize you were just walking right by, and then right here they pass Richard Allen as he's heading in, and they end up walking across the bridge. And all 4 of those girls, only 3 of them apparently saw Richard Allen. And when they were crossing this bridge, that's when Betsy Blair was coming in. Okay, the girls were on the trails and were walking towards the Freedom Bridge to go home. The male they encountered was walking from the Freedom Bridge towards the Monon High Bridge. So he wasn't leaving like he claimed he was. One of the 3 girls, identified as Anna, described the male as an older man walking on the trails as they were leaving, and she described him as kind of creepy. In a text from Anna to Kyla, Anna described the man as wearing like blue jeans and a really light blue jacket. His hair was gray, maybe a little brown. So that quote we hear is actually a text message she sent to a friend of hers. He did not really show his face. Investigators Steve Mullen and Brent Ingram interviewed Anna, and she described the male as wearing a blue jacket and light blue faded blue jeans. The jacket was a canvas duck-type jacket. Rayleigh was also in the group of 4 girls, and she said that she said hi to the man, and he just glared at them. She recalled him being in all black and had something covering his mouth. Rayleigh recalled telling her sister that someone was in a grumpy mood. She went on to describe him as not very tall and had a bigger build. She said that he was not bigger than 5'10". Rayleigh went on to say in an interview that he was wearing a black hoodie, black jeans, and black boots. She said that he had his hands in his pockets. Yeah, so, you take a look at that, and you just, if you play that, you might think that somebody, where are those controls? You might think and remember in your head, if he's wearing all black, you weren't really paying attention. He's got a really dark jacket on, blue, the jeans are, if you're in the shade too, it looks darker. So you could easily see somebody's memory just going, yeah, they're wearing all black, but his hands were in his pocket. But here's what we do know: they all saw the same person because they were right next to each other. I mean, there's only one person, right? And he admits to seeing them too. So you take that out of the equation at that point. Man, I'm going to have to throw myself in prison here in a minute. Let's see. An interview was conducted in 2020 of Bree, that's one of Kelsey's friends. She was able to show investigators a picture that she took on her phone on the Monona High Bridge with a timestamp of 12:43 p.m. Bree showed investigators another picture she took at the bench just east of Freedom Bridge when when they were leaving at 1:26. Bree stated after she took the picture at the bench, she started walking back towards the Freedom Bridge. That means she's leaving. Bree stated that's when they walked past the man who matched the description of the individual in the picture. Detective Liggett believes the picture that she is referring to is the picture law enforcement released of the murders. Bree described the man as wearing a blue, so Bree said he had blue or black windbreaker jacket. She stated the jacket had a collar and he had his hood up from the clothing underneath. I mean, when you watch that, I mean, let me just read that again when you're reading that or watching this. Watch. So where the hell is the control to that? Oh, I think if you click on the, yeah, there it is. Bree stated that when he walked past she described the man as wearing a blue or black windbreaker jacket. She stated that the jacket had a collar and he had his hood up from clothing underneath the jacket. Bree advised he was wearing baggy jeans and was taller than her. I mean, that's the same person right there, everybody. We're not looking at a different person than what she just described. As the girls left, they crossed the Freedom Bridge and the railroad bridge over old SR-25. That's when Betsy Blair, an individual by the name of Betsy Blair, was returning to the trails to finish her walk. I'm not sure why they're saying finish her walk. Betsy Blair is seen on video at Hoosier Harvest Store on 300 North, traveling eastbound to the trailhead to park at 1:46 and 20 seconds. Thanks, Robin Berardo. Blair saw the girls walking above as she went. Let me get back to the. So Betsy Blair was driving underneath. Well, hell, I'll show you. I need to play some more of our videos that we got. I mean, those are. There it is. Yeah, so Betsy Blair was right here. And she's driving. And as she's driving like this, she looks up and sees those 4 girls walking across. And then Betsy Blair continues her drive around the parking area to get to the Freedom Bridge is right over here. When you're driving like this, I'll show you. I have a video doing this, but you drive like this, and you take a right here, and as you can, that's the old road. So this is a really old video right here. But you take a right pretty much right there, and then it just loops around, and you park your car right in this area, and then walk to here, and then you get to the Freedom Bridge, and then the trails. You know, you start walking this direction, and it's pretty close. Maybe takes 10 minutes, 15 minutes maximum from over here to get to the start of the bridge over here. As the girls left, they crossed the Freedom Bridge and the railroad bridge over old SR-25. An individual named Betsy Blair was returning to the trails. Betsy Blair is seen on video. She parks at 13. She passes the Hoosier Harvest Store at 13:46, which is 1:46, 3 minutes before Kelsey got there. Blair saw the girls walking above as she went under the railroad bridge, just like I showed you. On September 21st, 2022, Detective Liggett was provided a tip narrative from Orion DIN C00074-01 to review. So look at that. That's what we were talking about the other day. September 21st, right in the middle of searching the Wabash River regarding Kagan Klein, even having Doug Carter fly his helicopter over. They're already got this tip narrative that they're looking at. And that makes it even more likely that that's connected to Kagan Klein. To me. And then it was 3 weeks after that is when they got their first when they went over there and they interviewed him on the 13th. Mr. Allen was on the trail between 1:30 and 3:30. He parked at the old Farm Bureau building and walked to the new Freedom Bridge. This is what the officer wrote down. This is his narrative. While at the Freedom Bridge, he saw 3 females. He noted one was taller and had brown or black hair. He did not remember description, nor did he speak with them. He walked from the Freedom Bridge to the High Bridge. He did not see anybody, although stated he was watching a stock ticker on his phone as he walked. He stated that there were vehicles parked at the High Bridge Trail, however, did not pay attention to them. He did not take any photos or video. His cell phone did not list. See, I don't think some of this other stuff was mentioned. He stated there were vehicles parked at the High Bridge Trail. I wonder why the defense hasn't brought that part up. See, he was obviously there at a different time because he said there was a vehicle parked there. Well, the thing is there wasn't when he walked by. There was no cars parked there. Yeah. Through the statement of Mr. Allen, he admits that on February 13, 2017, he parked his vehicle at the old Farm Bureau building from 1:30 to 3:30 and was on the trails at that time. There is no old Farm Bureau building anywhere close to the trails or bridges. Detective Liggett believes he is referring to the old child. Well, here's the thing. It matters because they saw his car parked there, but he also admits that he was on the trails right there, so it doesn't really matter that much, although, these people say that they were seeing his car back in there. But wherever he parked it, right? I mean, he admits to being there at the Freedom Bridge. Detective Liggett then examined the timeline for the day of the homicides. As previously said above, Rayleigh, Brianna, and Anna were leaving the trails and passed by a male matching the description of the male in the video taken by Liberty. Given the statements by Allen and the timestamp of the video from the Hoosier Harvest Store and the statements from the three of the 4 girls, Detective Liggett believes that the male the 3 of the girls saw was in fact Richard Allen. Allen stated that after he passed the girls and then he walked to the Monon High Bridge and saw nobody else. Investigators believe that after passing the Hoosier Harvest Store at 146, Blair parked at the trailhead entrance across from the mayor's residence. In her interview, she says there are no other cars in the trailhead entrance at that time. She walked to the Monon High Bridge and a male matching the male from Liberty's video. She described him as a white male wearing blue jeans and a blue jean jacket. This matches the blue duck canvas jacket Anna Spath describes. Blair said that the male was standing on the first platform of the Monon High Bridge, approximately 50 feet away from her. Blair turned around at the bridge and continued her walk. Approximately halfway between the bridge and the main hub of the trails, she passed 2 girls walking towards the High Bridge. And that was Abby and Libby. Blair said that she believed it was Liberty German and Abigail Lynch. At 1:49, on the Hoosier Harvest Store video, there's a white car that matches Kelsey German's vehicle. Liberty and Abigail would have been dropped off right before this video. Blair, yeah, right, so they would have been dropped off at 1:48, but Blair got there at 1:46. She's actually exercising, so gets out of her car and walks quicker, gets to the start of the bridge and then turns around, and just 2 minutes after Betsy had parked her car, Abby and Libby were dropped off, and they're probably walking slower because they're not really exercising or anything. They're just kind of lollygagging around. And then they're halfway down the trail, and Betsy Blair passes them. Oh, God, don't type in, oh, wait. Oh, Jesus, don't do it. Please, come on. They do mention her. Her name isn't Sue, Cindy. That's just the name I called her. Her name is Betsy Blair. Okay, thank you. As Blair was leaving, she notes a vehicle was parked in an odd manner Let me get back up here. At 1:49 on the Hoosier Harvester video, there is a white car that matches Kelsey German's vehicle. Liberty and Abigail would have been dropped off right before the video. Blair finished her walk and is seen on the Hoosier Harvester video leaving westbound at 2:14. Blair said she saw no you don't know because I just read what you said up above. Blair said that she saw no adults other than the male on the bridge. As Blair was leaving, she noted a vehicle was parked in an odd manner at the old Child Protective Service building. She said that it was not odd for the vehicle to be parked there, but it was odd that it was backed in near the building. She said the vehicles often use the south edge of the parking lot, so they are closer to the trail to get to the Freedom Bridge. Detective Liggett reviewed a tip, DIN C001751, from Terry Wilson. Wilson was on his way to Delphi on February 13th on the Hoosier Heartland Highway. At approximately 2:10, he observed what he described as a purple PT Cruiser, or small SUV-type vehicle, parked on the south side of the CPS building. Wilson said it was backed in as to conceal the license plate of the vehicle, so obviously they saw the same one. During their interviews with Blair and Wilson drew a diagram and the vehicles they saw parked in the same general area and manner. An interview was done of Sarah Carba in 2017. She states that she was traveling east on 300 North and observed a male subject walking west on the north side of 300 North. So what that means is this is 300 right here, and he was on the north side of this road walking this direction, and his vehicle's parked right over here. Where he was, I don't know. He could have been over here. He could have been. I just have him right there. Richard Allen was interviewed by investigators on October 13, 2022 at an investigation center. He was interviewed by Detective Liggett and Carroll County Prosecutor Investigator Steve Mullen. He agreed to come to the center and speak with investigators. He was advised his rights, and he was further advised that he was not under arrest and was free to leave at any time. Investigator Mullen explained to him how to leave, even told him how to leave the center if he so desired. He stated that he was in fact on the trails on February 13th. He further stated that he saw 3 girls on the trails east of the Freedom Bridge, and also that he went on to the Monenhigh Bridge. He also told investigators that he was wearing blue jeans and a black Carhartt jacket with a hood on that day. He stated he also wore some type of head covering. He further claimed that he saw no one else but the 3 girls that he observed east of the Freedom Bridge. Further, prior to the interview, he told investigators that he also had guns at his home. Richard M. Allen's wife, Kathy Allen, spoke to investigators as well. She confirmed that Richard did have guns and knives at the residence. She also stated that Richard still has a blue Carhartt jacket. The evidence gathered shows that on February 13, 2017, that 4 girls, Rayleigh Voorhees, Brianna Wilbur, Anna Spath, and Isabel Voorhees, were on the trail when they observed a male individual walking on the trails towards the Monenhigh Bridge. The male was wearing clothes similar to the clothes of the male depicted on the video taken from Liberty German's phone. Investigators know that this male is the last known individual to have contact with Liberty German and Abigail Williams before they were murdered. Further, Betsy Blair was shown a picture. This is the key part of this. Further, Betsy Blair was shown a picture of the individual on the Monenhigh Bridge, and she says that's the same individual that she witnessed on the trails on the bridge. In an interview with Richard M. Allen done on October 13th, he admits that he was, in fact, on the trails on February 13th and walked past the 3 girls and continued to the Monenhigh Bridge. He stated that he was physically on the bridge. After Betsy Blair sees this individual, there are several other individuals on the trail that don't observe the man or Liberty German or Abigail Williams. Sarah Carba then observes a man walking down 300 North with a blue jacket and jeans, and that he is muddy and bloody, as if he had just been in a fight. She is shown a picture of the man on the bridge, and she let's see. And she is the same. She says that is the same man she observed walking on 300 North. Investigators believe that Richard M. Allen is the last individual to have contact with Liberty German and Abigail Williams. Investigators further believe that Richard M. Allen is the individual depicted on the Monadnock Bridge from the video taken from Liberty German's phone. There you go. I mean, so yeah, they saw the picture and go, yeah, that's what I saw. Well, they're just in it, Zozo. They're in the articles, so it's out there, and maybe they should have done it, but it's not. So, the law enforcement put this article out. All right. I mean, we can do the holier than thou stuff all we want, but now it's out there and can't really do anything about it. Yeah. I wish I could, but it's hard to read it. I try to do their first names and then it just, yeah. You want me to like blur it out and stuff, Zozo? And is that what you want me to do? Or anyways, let's see. Detective Liggett has been a member of law enforcement for 21 years. In his role as a deputy and as a detective, he has investigated numerous crimes, including murders. He has also been trained in how to investigate offenses such as murder. He has also participated in training specifically geared towards murder investigations. Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Gonna have to remove that one. Let's see about Sue and Sarah's words. Huh? No, this is what the original one. Let's see, it says defense claimed video of witness statement said muddy but never said bloody. Right. Yeah, it doesn't look good if that's what it is. Nah, that's not how you say hello. That's what you say when, oh look, oh God, we go. Let's see. You guys are still doing the Kenneka thing right now? Man, I gotta get rid of the rewind, man. I gotta get rid of that sucker. Quick. I'm not sure it works. Right. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I don't. Maybe I don't read your... But I'm just reading it because it's out there and it's just going to be said. I mean, the prosecution put this out there, right? Like this is leaked by them, their side, and it has all their names. And at this point, their names are in here. It's the defense obviously probably contacts all of them and tries to get their stories. Yeah, what they said was that Betsy Blair said he had a tan color, not Betsy Blair, Carbaugh. The other document says that Sarah Carbaugh says that she was wearing a... so we'll read that part here in a minute, okay? Because that Sarah Carbaugh said that it was like a tan jacket and that he was just muddy, and there's no bloody part, okay? That's what that said. And that Betsy Blair said that he had a brown curly hair and, looked younger and this kind of thing. But even though when she looked at the video, she said, yeah, that's the same guy. I just think that Richard Allen looks younger. Yeah, I mean, they don't need to put it out there. I think they're all over 18 years old now, every one of these kids. So, I mean, why not put it out now? They're adults. 6 years ago, they're probably 20 something at this point. I mean, their names have been kept secret for many, many, many years. So is this the other one that was... What was the one we were just looking at? Oh boy, this is brutal. Yeah. There's that one. Motion file. Rejection. Maybe this is the one. Yeah, September, looks like maybe 25th. So this might be the, let's see what it says in here. So I think this is the one that we were reading the other day. This is their response. I don't think that that one that I just showed you was the response. It was a buried article. This was the response here, I believe. That on May 19, 2023, the defendant filed a motion to suppress the evidence. Let's see. That on defense alleges that the search warrant is unconstitutional because the issuance of the search warrant was a result of improper ex parte application in the affiant sheriff. Tony Liggett failed to advise the judge of material faces and made false and misleading representations with reckless disregard for the truth. So they changed the reason. Remember, the first time was, well, they didn't really list what they wanted to get in the search warrant. So it was just overly broad. And now they, oh, we got some other reason. So the defense is really, really trying hard to get the search warrant thrown out. And I think it's because that there's other information that we, the public, aren't aware of, but the defense is, and they know that it's absolutely damning information. So they need to get this search warrant thrown out, and they need to get thrown out quick. That per the Franks case, the defense attack must be based on deliberate falsehoods or acts of reckless disregard for the truth, and those allegations must be accompanied by offer of proof that the claim should point out specifically the portion of the warrant affidavit that is claimed to be false, accompanied by a statement of supporting reasons. That further, this should be supported by affidavits or sworn statements or other reliable statements from the witnesses or explanation for their absence. That the defense has filed such a memorandum outlining their belief of what omitted and false. That once again, while the memorandum is colorful, dramatic, and highly unprofessional. I mean, I think I said that on the first day, right? It was. So if you're out there and if you are part of writing that 136-page memorandum, you are an absolute embarrassment. That article was written like a fourth grader, except it had the effect that you wanted. So good job, you know. You had all these wackos out there believing it. Thank you, Lisa Wilkerson. So I like that comment right here. I think I gotta come up with some more like gear. You know, I gotta have my own hats and everything. That once again, while the memorandum is colorful, dramatic, and highly professional. Hey, what are you talking about, Russell? Get earbuds. You won't miss a thing. Yeah. That once again, while the memorandum is colorful, dramatic, and highly unprofessional, it's not completely true. I thought that was kind of weak writing. I said this before, you know. Not completely true. So some of it is, but you know what I mean? I mean, you don't want to admit any of that stuff. that the state believes the allegations outlined by the defense are not supported by the evidence that they have collected. That Sheriff Tony Liggett did not intentionally or recklessly omit evidence or lie about evidence in the probable cause affidavit to support the search warrant. Now, when you say intentionally, then that's sort of like saying, I don't recall, that type of thing, right? That the defense also alleges that the search warrant was unreasonable under Indiana and federal constitution in that it lacked probable cause, that it failed to establish that the items to be seized, that was the original one, were in the residence or could be expected to be in the residence. That the affidavit failed to provide particular information that particular items related to the particular crime would be found in the home, and that the affidavit failed to connect generic items to actual items that were possibly used in the crime. That in September of 2022, while reviewing the evidence in the investigation into the murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German, investigators discovered an interview that was done with Richard Allen in 2017, September 20, let's do that. We don't know the date of that one, but they were made aware of it on September 21st, 2022. They discovered an interview that was done with Richard Allen in 2017. That in the 2017 interview, Richard Allen admitted being on the trail the day that Abigail Williams and Liberty German went missing. That he stated he was on the trail between 1:30 and 3:30, and that while he was on the trail, he was using his phone. That on October 13, 2022, investigators invited... Wouldn't it be incredible if some of the... You know how they got a whole bunch of electronic devices from Richard Allen's home? And let's say those link back to the pings that were done, and it shows that he was right there. And they know that that was part of the warrant. Because remember, they got the devices from his house. And they know that that was fruit from the warrant. And they got to get rid of that shit because it shows him pinging on the bridge. I don't know, Russell, your writing almost sounds like you're a little drunk. I want to look at it. Man, laughing inappropriately, joking around about every single... But he said he was there. Maybe there are pics. Yeah, he said he was there. There aren't pictures. He had his phone. He was looking... he says at stock symbols, right? So wouldn't it be crazy if one of those devices, when they forensically had them examined, if he was using one of those, maybe they were even a burner phone or something, and it's pinging while on the bridge. That would be amazing. I was thinking of getting my own license plate that says freak on it. A vanity plate. Like Freak 1 or something. That he stated that he was on the trail between 1:30 and 3:30. Then October 13th, investigators invited Richard Allen and his wife, Kathy Allen, to speak to them and follow up on that interview done in 2017. That both Richard Allen and Kathy Allen came to the interview on their own on October 13th. They were not under arrest and were free to leave the interview at any time. That investigators learned from those interviews that Richard Allen reaffirmed that he was, in fact, on the trails the day that Abigail Williams and Liberty German went missing. I mean, it is sort of interesting that he, still admitting it, he must realize that they had his original statement. But they're leaving out that he apparently said in this one that he was there from 12 to 1:30. But that just doesn't make any sense, since he was coming into the park at about 1:34, 1:35, and he passed the three girls. But he also told investigators that he was wearing blue jeans and a blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hood, and that he was wearing a head covering. I mean, my God, you might wonder why he's being so specific, describing exactly the guy in the image. It's almost like he didn't listen to the news and realize that the image was taken from Libby's phone or something. I mean, it's really... That further, Richard stated that he did own guns and that the guns were at his home. That investigators learned from Kathy that Richard Allen still had guns and knives in the home. That investigators believed a firearm was involved in the abduction and murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty German because an unspent .40 caliber round was found between the bodies of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. That investigators believed a knife was used in the murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. That the clothes Richard Allen described wearing the day he was on the trails matched the description of the man seen on the bridge from the video taken by Liberty German's phone. That it was also gathered that Richard Allen still possessed the firearm. That based on this information, investigators prepared a probable cause affidavit. That the probable cause affidavit covers all the information that law enforcement had gathered in the investigation in regards to Richard Allen up until October 13th. So there you go. So since then, I'm sure they have a lot more. That the probable cause affidavit outlines evidence that established probable cause to search the home of Richard Allen. That investigators applied for the search warrant on October 13th, and the same day was granted that day by Carroll County Circuit Court Judge Benjamin Diener. Investigators went to the residence of with the residence of the defendant located 1967 North Whiteman Drive, Delphi, Indiana, knocked on the door and executed the search warrant on October 13th. The defendant and his wife were asked to be out of the residence while the search warrant was executed, but were allowed back in the residence immediately afterwards. Investigators found several items in the residence, including a .40 caliber firearm and electronic devices, all of which are outlined in the search warrant. That for a search warrant to be valid, it must be accompanied by an affidavit that establishes probable cause. Let's see. Yeah, this is just the other crap in here. Just arguments. I just wanted to go through the part that we've already gone through that before. It's just got really dead in here, so it's we're just spinning wheels at this point. Anything about what are you talking about, Cindy? Yeah. No, nothing in there. Nothing in there. But we saw that they had already said before that Sue and Carbaugh both said that the guy in the video was the person they saw. I don't know. I mean, I think the stuff that we read today is a little bit more interesting, I think. You know, it's like, yeah, Jesus, how come you pretended you didn't know who the professor was? You know? I think it's just better to not do that kind of crap. You just roll with it and say, yeah, well, this is what we got. But, you know, those are all dead ends. We looked at those things, but this is where we're at. It's just people do stupid shit, you know. Oh yeah, so today there was also so this stuff right here was out on a page. Said, let's clear things up. On the left is the actual photo of the blood on the tree. On the right is something Court TV decided to show everyone to make them think it was only blood splatter. To me, it looks very... See, this is bullshit right here. Okay? So I talked to somebody who actually has seen the image, and they actually have the image of the lettering, and it looks like this. This isn't a real picture here, according to her, right? And it doesn't even look the same. So this is just somebody, the person who put this post up here is a known bullshit artist on social media. So That's out there. And that looks nothing like this. Yep, he admits to being there. He admits to being there, and he confessed. So a lot of times we're forgetting about the fact that he confessed to his wife and his grandmother, and the defense was like, oh my God, he really did, he really did. Ah, but he's crazy, everybody, look at that, he drools on his shirt. Yeah, it's just smoke and mirrors. I bet you, I mean, I don't know what the reason, they might not have really remembered who the Purdue professor's name is, except for the fact that Holman apparently knew what his name was. 3 weeks before they said they didn't know who he was. So, I mean, I hope that's not a true statement, because that would be, you know, judge might look at that unfavorably. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for me tonight. Thank you for being here. Make sure to hit that like button on the way out the door. My God, only 400 likes, for God's sakes. Tracy Seamer, Claudia Neubauer, Kitty Cronister, Caligal 3, Kathy Chapin, Eugenie, Dawn, GRF, Claudia Neubauer, Charlotte Denny, Jessica Schubach, Claudia Neubauer, Brown Eyed Girl 714, and also happy birthday again to Tracy Seamer. Kathy Friedenmaker, Canvas and Crime, T-Cell Logic, Christy Lynn Snow, Gloria Batari, Ashley Hansen, Claudia Neubauer, Cindy J, Daphne, Eugenie, Mrs. C, Cheryl Bullock, and then the Saving Double Cat Eye, Amy Higg donation, Lisa Wilkerson, Eugenie gifted a membership, Caligal, Claudia Neubauer, Scott 88SH, Cindy Leon, Robin Berardo, and Lisa Wilkerson. Very cool. Yeah, so what? I didn't get your response. Isn't your surgery and stuff coming up soon, Amber? Hope you guys thought that was an interesting show. I mean, we kind of covered a lot of different things. We went over some of the old Kenneka Jenkins. If you guys want to, I mean, I did so many debunking videos, you'd probably laugh at half of them because they're so stupid. The stuff that you have to debunk. Same thing in the Delphi case early on. So, all right. Thank you, guys. We will see you tomorrow, and thank you for all your support for the channel. Make sure to hit that like button on the way out the door, and we'll see you tomorrow, all right? So thank you very much, and as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Now watch, Zozo's going to say, hey, Gray, did you see this article? Oh, God, I get the hell out of here. She always does it. Every show, right at the buzzer. Hey, Gray, what about this one?
I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya
On a stretcher.
If you try and play me like an
Old projector,
Crime sector.
here's my nectar.
Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime
Collector.
Freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pop protector.
Full reflector. Interceptor.
I don't mean that I spectre with a vector.
On his pector with a spectre.
Just remember, Jack Show, I have no agenda. I'm the bartender. Serve it to you straight without a blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send you on a mission to reveal a true offender.
Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you.
Yeah, Gray, play the Okinawa song, Gray. Okinawa. Okinawa. Oh God! Why would I want to play the stabbing? For God's sake! You don't want to put a person's name out there, but you want to play stabbings? Okinawa. don't know. I saw a different link. I don't know about the one that you're talking about. Looking now. Hey, thanks, Greg. That was fun.
Yes, I heard you cussing in there. There he was. Yeah. Saddle now. Saw the surgeon. Got the films done. To order the job. Joints finally. 4 months to... God, what the... Just hurry up and wait in that one, huh? Yeah, exactly, Paulette. That's what it said. Alright, you guys. See you later. Be safe out there.
This guy may be like the dumbest person on the face of the earth.
Okay, bye. Bitch, please.
Oh my god, awkward.
Evil can never be dead enough.
And some of you make shit up.
This guy may be like the dumbest person on the face of the earth. Come on, man. What's wrong with you? Did you hear what I said? You know, that's just one step above stupid. There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp. Have you lost the last 3 brain cells, or do you just have cabbage for brains? 5 brain cells, 4 aren't working.